Alright, what's going on YouTube? Here it is, best of 5, Hera versus Modri. This is a $500 best of 5 show match that we are having over here. We'll take a quick look at the draft. Actually, we can actually take a look at this draft over here. You can already see the capture age overlay, so that's a little bit ugly over here. But Teutons, Byzantines, Malay, Ethiopians, Celts, Slavs for Modri, Lithuanians, Saracens, Tatars, Bulgarians, Vietnamese, and Portuguese for Hera over there. And here we go. I will need to reset the overlay and we're actually good to go. So this is a best of 5 $500 show match. This is hosted and sponsored by Roxy. And we will have Modri playing on the right side as Malay in blue. Left side, it is going to be green for Hera. Actually, we might be going with friend and flow colors. Yeah, let's go friend and foe colors because Columbine people actually have trouble with blue and green. So probably a lot of people will appreciate if we have a blue and red setting instead. So Hera's gonna be playing blue on the left side in Vietnamese, and the right side we will have Modri as Malay in red. So Malay is one of my favorite arena civs over here. I feel like they just give you an awful lot of versatility. It's a super strong, definitely S tier arena civ. Other side, Vietnamese is a good save, especially if you're up against Malay, to be honest. Because one of the biggest strengths that Malay have is their Orblast and Bombard Cannon play. But here, Vietnamese actually are pretty decent against that with their Rattan Archers. The tricky thing is how Vietnamese are going to stop the cheap Malay Elephants. Theoretically, they should have no trouble stopping them, but I think Vietnamese infantry is missing the final attack upgrade, so the halberdiers for Vietnamese aren't that super amazing, especially if you don't have good numbers. You might get caught off guard by some elephants overrunning your base, so that's going to be an interesting one to take a look at. Both of these civs are elephant civs, so we might see elephant versus elephant warfare as well, if things go that way. Anyways, this is one of those arena generations where you don't have a lot of space at the back. Sometimes your base spawns with an awful lot of space at the back, sometimes it's very, very small space. What we know for sure is that whenever one player spawns with small space at the back, the other one is going to spawn with small space as well. So as you see, both players have pretty much no room at the back to expand. One thing that's actually pretty good for Modri here is that he's got a nice little clearing over here to the left of his base, something that he could actually stonewall off and use this place for his base in the future. Both players pretty much have actually, we have one wood line over here for Modri and potentially 2 spots for Hera to gather wood from. So he has one very good wood line over here and another one over here on the other side. Now, there is actually no opening over here. The walls are sealing this part off over here, but Hera needs to be careful about that because things could go bad pretty badly over there in just a few seconds. Alright, so Vietnamese versus Malay, honestly, it's a little bit tricky. Because if the Malay player just tries to mirror what the Vietnamese player is about to do, then the Malay player is going to have a much, much stronger economy. And you would assume that there is going to be a good chance for maybe even a Castle Age push with like crossbows and potentially few mangonels over there. So there's a lot of potential for that. Malay is one of those civs that actually has a reasonable fast Imperial, so there's a chance we're going to see something like that, especially knowing this civ matchup, knowing that Modri might struggle against Hera in late game with this civ matchup because Vietnamese Rattan Archers might be tough to stop. We might see a very aggressive play from Modri, trying to go for a fast Imp, and then go for a few Bombard Cannons and Arbalests. We'll see if that's the case for Modri over here. Both players for now are just pushing into the air. Apparently Hera's gonna have some trouble with that. This Ibex doesn't really want to cooperate right now. But for now, this is looking pretty clean for Hera. One thing I'm noticing is that he isn't dropping a farm just yet. Interesting. Normally you want to drop your farms by now because you already have a mill up. Obviously he wants to focus on consuming the deer first. And considering that he has 4 Ibex to work with, that's not really a major issue. And is he missing his second boar? No, he does not. He probably just forgot about that or something like that, because that villager is going out pretty late. I mean, he pushed in 2 deer, so he still has something to consume. It's not like it's a mistake or anything, but it's interesting that he's luring that second boar in pretty late over here. And as I said, I feel like he might be a little bit low on food here. sometime in the near future, because his farming eco isn't going to be great. He's going to consume the herdables and huntables pretty rapidly. This is why you drop 2 or 3 farms, like Modri is doing right now, because you want to make sure that you have these herdables and huntables last as long as you need to get horse color, because you don't want to drop a lot of farms with horse color. What Hera is doing, this might actually force him to drop maybe 4 or 5 farms without horse color, whereas here, if you drop 2 or 3 farms earlier, then you don't need to drop like 4 or 5 farms with horse color. I'm actually curious to see if Hera is gonna be able to pull off a nice eco here. He might get away with this, but I'm actually curious if he can do that, because as you see, right now, the only way I could actually see this work for him is if he goes up at 24. He's at 22 villagers. 24 plus 2 might be doable, especially if he squeezes in horse color before clicking up to Imperi or Castle Age, which might be doable for him. I'm not sure. If you have 3 Ibaks, you definitely cannot do this. If you have 4, you might actually get away with this. Where did Modri come from to be able to challenge Hera? Modri came from Arena, if that's the... That's a great answer, I believe. So, Modri is one of the best Arena players out there. He's just as good on Arena as all of the top players. He's very scary on closed maps. Not just Arena, but Hideout as well. Modri is a fast player, so don't underestimate him. It's just a matter of he doesn't play a lot of open maps, but Modri is an absolute beast. I think in Clown Cup, which was an arena-only tournament, Modri lost to Viper 3-2. Modri isn't really playing a lot of tournaments. He plays some arena events, but he isn't really the type of guy that plays in a lot of tournaments. But this guy is pretty high rated if you check his rating out, and he's insanely good on arena. So if you ever see him in a tournament, what you're going to see is that he's going to choose the closed maps. Like, if a tournament has arena in it, he's going to choose it. If a tournament has hideout in it, he's going to choose it. By the way, on AoE Zone, there was a huge drama about... see, this is what I said about being late with the farms. This is what you want to avoid. Dropping 4 farms with your villagers, still without horse color, and Hera might need to drop a 5th one. This is exactly why you want to do what Modri is doing, see? Modri is dropping 2 farms earlier. This allows him to delay dropping a lot of farms without horse color. And that's exactly how you should be doing. As far as I know, a good rule of thumb is that once you drop your mill, you instantly drop the farms, like 2 or 3 farms, as soon as you can afford them. The earlier the better, because you want to make sure that you don't have to drop farms before getting horse color, and that's not something that Hera's gonna have. Now, Hera's a good enough player to compensate, but you are going to see that this is not as efficient as it could possibly be. Harrison, honestly, it's somewhat relatable to AoE free Deccan. I think it's a little bit different. Like, AoE free Deccan, especially 3v3 Deccan team games and 4v4s, were extremely popular on AoE free. And indeed, there is kind of a community that only plays that. Arena sort of can be related to that. If you actually look back to the Woobly days, there were actually players that only played Arena. Like Jonslow, for example. Jonslow had like 2,000 games, all of them Arena. Derp, Dark Noob, Skogo, Stefan, Modri. These players played an insane amount of Arena. And there is where that gimmick or that meme comes from, that they are Arena clowns. So it was always like, everybody plays Arabia, but there are just a few people that just love to play Arena. Viles, thanks for the raid. Thank you so much. Hope you had a nice stream. Thank you so much for the raid. So, there is where the meme comes from, that there is the Arabia Master Race and there is the Arena Clowns. And, oh, there's the first hit from Hera on Modri Scout. And you might think that, oh, it's so rude to call them clowns, but they also embrace that meme. So, they call their tournaments Clown Cup and Master of the Circus, so they are fully compliant with the clown memes. And, well, Modri's gonna have to run away from that one, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, a triple Monastery play from Modri. As I said, I feel like he needs to play a little bit aggressive over here, And there is going to be Loom coming in as well, so I would assume that there might be a Siege Workshop to this one as well. And Hera is going to add 1 TC over here, 2nd TC. This might actually go punished by Modri here pretty hard. You can see that Modri is pretty much just running away and dragging that scout to the north. So this would allow him to move out and pretty much get a Siege Workshop up untouched over there. Also, if he just gets a few monks in, he gets sensitive right now just to make sure they don't get sniped down instantly by that scout. He can heal that scout and take that fight as well. Hera's going for the full eco approach. Boso, heavy plow even, and he's gonna be on 3 TCs, so full boom mode. And here is something I don't like from Modri. He shows that villager. He could have actually probably avoided showing that will if he doesn't actually drag that scout in that direction. Now, it's not really a big deal because it's not like Hera can stop it immediately, but Hera has a few seconds to react. And if I'm not mistaken, Malay have redemptions, so it's probably gonna be redemption monks and manganos over here. So, yeah, Modri is an extremely good arena and closed map player. He's very, very good with that. He's starting to get into open map gameplay as well. But he's not that advanced in there, so he's probably... Oh, that's actually bad for Hera. Modri could have took that fight. Modri actually had the HP advantage. He could have taken that fight, and that would have allowed him to potentially get some scouting info in. The monk should be healing the scout over here instead of actually trying to get a conversion in. Let's see, Hera saves his scout for a time being. And that's beautiful, by the way, from Modri. He's keeping that scout alive, and here comes the first battering ram, followed by a Mangano. Hera's gonna have to get a Villagers on a stone. This is the safest way to deal with a Mangano and Monk push. You're just gonna get a defensive castle up, especially with Vikings. Or Vikings? What am I talking about? Vietnamese. Because with Vietnamese, you will go Rat Archers anyways. So... if you actually get a castle up successfully, you will start going for Rat Archers immediately. Obviously, Hera's eco is going to be like miles ahead of Modri's eco here. So Modri is not going to have any significant eco upgrades. Modri is going to have way lower villager count. So this is like a huge push here. The type of push that if it stalls out is GG. But if you can actually make it happen, and Modri is one of those players that can potentially make it happen, it's going to pretty much finish off Hera. The problem for Modri is that he's not pushing fast enough, and Hera is reacting perfectly to this. There is a redemption on the way, but as you see, Modri isn't even close to threatening Hera's eco, and Hera is already at 200 stone, and 10 on stone is going to mean that he's going to have that castle in a couple of minutes, but that's a lot of monks. That's a lot of monks, and monks with redemption can convert buildings as well, so the monk here can just go and try to convert that house to get through that. And Villager, is he going to get converted? Modri is trying to achieve that. Hera, he has a Siege Workshop himself, but remember that all these monks have redemption, so that might be converted very soon. Hera at 400 stone, though I don't think that the push is fast enough from Modri here to stop that castle. And if that castle goes up for Hera, he's gonna be fine. Now, he's got a back gold, he's got a back stone, so if he loses this DC, a castle here is doable. Overall, he could delete this farm and get a castle up here, and he's gonna be pretty much fine with that. There is the Mangano. Hera's gonna have no trouble repairing that TC. So, I feel like Hera is defending perfectly against this one. Modri's gonna have a pretty aggressive push, and this is why I'm not a big fan of him showing that Villager. Because maybe he could have surprised Hera a little bit more. And the monks are in. And, oh, they're converting the market. They're converting the market, so Hera cannot actually balance his eco or buy himself a castle. That's actually a very smart idea, and he's going for a blacksmith as well. Hera doesn't have range upgrades on his, or attack upgrade on his TC, which means he's without fletching or Botkin arrow, and indeed, as you see, it's over here. And without that, as we have two conversions from Modri on those Manganos. He converted both of those, and now Hera's gonna have to pull the wheels. Hera has enough stone for a castle, but I have some doubts about him getting a castle up now with Modri clicking into Imperial. This is the ultimate clown experience over here, ladies and gentlemen. The villager count is massively in the favor of Hera, but look at that. Modri converted a blacksmith for himself, he converted the market. And there's a stable now coming for Hera. There's the castle that was somewhat predictable. I don't think that Modri can stop it. But that being said, Modri is mining stone, and do you know what's gonna be the follow-up of this? And Modri is executing that perfectly. He's going to drop a castle here and trap this one down. And since he was only playing 1 TC, he's gonna be able to click up much, much faster. So the thing is that even if Hera gets that castle up, which obviously is gonna happen, and it's gonna cost 2 monks' lives here, Hera doesn't have upgrades, and he's gonna have to build a new blacksmith to get upgrades here. He's gonna have to build a new market to balance his eco. And there is Modri. That's gonna be a castle, something that Hera isn't gonna be able to stop. And by the time Modri reaches Imperial, that castle's pretty much gonna be up. And Trebs will be arriving pretty soon. So this is still doable for Modri. Nice micro over there. Ends up losing that Mangonel, but he might get a conversion in exchange. And Hera is probably like, what? He's an imp? Hera's gonna try to get some cavalry in, but look at that! Hera just taps out. He's like, okay, he's imp, it's GG. And indeed it is. It's not like Hera can defend that castle for long. And Hera is nowhere close to clicking imp. Hera is nowhere close to buying himself up. Hera is nowhere close to buying stone even, right? Because in order to repair that castle for a long amount of time, you are gonna have to buy stone as well, even if you have like 8 villagers on stone. Honestly, this is over. Like, this is actually over. Why is it over? Because if this castle goes up, and it will go up, there will be traps from Modri, he can take that castle down. Hera is nowhere close to imping. Hera is nowhere close to having any army on the field. What can he do against this castle? Nothing. He's gonna lose the front of his base, and at this point, Modri can just basically crawl forward with traps and castles. So, this actually is over for Hera. I'm not gonna lie, I think he played a little bit ambitious with the free TC boom, and I think Modri surprised him. Modri surprised him here with this build. But as I said, Modri is a strong arena player, and he can execute these arena-specific strategies extremely well. This was a near-perfect execution. I really like that he punished Hera for not being fully bought here. Many players would just sit back with their monks and wait. Modri sent them in, and he converted the blacksmith and the market, and this matters. This matters a lot because this prevents Hera from doing any eco balance to potentially get some units out or get stone to repair a castle later on. It prevents Hera from getting upgrades for a few archers. This is awfully hard to stop with Vietnamese, by the way. Like, the problem of Vietnamese is that they are an archer civ, and Mangonels and monks, especially with Redemption, is going to counter that easily. So, quick strike over here from Modri. Only 10 kills for Hera, 6 for Modri, but 7 units converted matters quite a lot. And, well, obviously Modri's got a way worse eco. By the way, what you see over here, Modri 5k gold, basically all Modri did was buy himself up to Imperial. So he didn't bother adding food eco, he was like, okay, I'm gonna mine gold, buy myself up to Imperial. And that actually works in a short-term play, and it's more efficient than just adding food eco, because to add food eco you need a lot of wood, and it takes some time to actually benefit from it. So in short term, it's actually better to just mine the gold and buy the food that you need. That's exactly what Modri did. Obviously, with such eco upgrades, if that push stalls out, it's over. But one of the reasons why this push was so good from Modri is because he had a follow-up. In many cases, a defensive castle pretty much ends a push like this because monks and mangonels can't kill a castle. But Modri had a perfect follow-up. He went to Imperial, especially with Malay. And Malay even go up to the next stage faster, which helps at just being as swift as possible to get to the next level and get the traps out. This was a perfect execution from Modri on what is a pretty strong build over here. Hera's gonna lose Vietnamese, Modri's gonna lose Malay. And if you look at this, Modri could do the exact same thing with Byzantines. I don't think that he's going to do it right now, but Byzantines can do what Malay do almost as good. It's not perfect, but it's actually very, very close to what Malay can do with such a build. There is also Teutons that could work out nicely with Castle Age push. Celts have a decent Castle Age push, but no Redemption. Ethiopians, we'll see what Modri plans with them. Same thing for Slavs. Is this a best of 5? Yes, that is correct. It's a best of 5. $500. So I think it's 400-100 split. But don't take that for granted. It might be a little bit different, but somewhere around there. So they are getting the next game set up. Tomorrow I will be casting Hera versus Yo Showmatch at 16 GMT. So that's also $500, I believe, but that's not arena only. In fact, Hera versus Yo Showmatch here. Let me open that up. That is hosted by OG and Empires, a French streamer. That's gonna be a mixture of maps. Some of them I have not heard about. This one is hosted by Roxy, so I think it's also sponsored by Roxy and hosted as well. I know that Modri is a frequent viewer of her as well, so I guess one of the reasons why that was the idea is because Roxy is familiar with Modri, and Modri's best map is Arena. So if this was Arabia, Hera would win 3-0, no problem. But in Arena, it's a completely different battleground, and this is why having Arena in tournaments, as bad as it is because it's somewhat boring at the beginning of games, it actually gives a huge upset potential, because Arena is one of those places where pretty much like a lot weaker player can also have a very, very good performance. Now, Modri is a skilled player, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that on open maps, Modri would probably lose 9 out of 10 games against Hera because he's not as good as Hera. But on Arena, things are a little bit different. And a player like Modri can actually make life very, very hard for Hera. And here we go. So, once again, we're going with the red and blue colors just because there might be some colorblind people watching it now and in the future. And Modri has smashed Doubt on Arena. Oh, I think I remember that Arena show match between Modri and Doubt. So this game isn't gonna load, by the way. Hera has crashed, so where you are gonna have to wait a tiny bit. By the way, why do I have a Red Bull Volo? Boom, go away, Red Bull. We don't need that. So Hera's game crashed, that's why the game is not loading up. And when it actually loads up, there is like a threshold time after which the game is going to consider one of the players dropped. So you will just get in there and it's going to say, okay, game over. So they'll have to rehost the lobby. I'm actually curious of the civs though, because we can talk about that. And boom, this is what I was talking about. It would have been a Saracens versus Teutons matchup. Two civs with pretty interesting and pretty strong monks over here. So let's talk about that. Saracens versus Teutons. I feel like Saracens is one of those civs for Hera where if he uses the market smart, he can probably punish Modri with an aggressive play just as much as Modri punished him in the previous game. Saracens are super versatile. You can pull off like a monk push, just like Vanderboy is saying. You can pull off a fast imp with them using a market. Like Saracen fast imp to Arbalests are actually pretty scary. Arbalest and Bombard Cannon. It's actually very, very devastating. Honestly, I might actually like a Saracen fast imp into Arbalest and Bombard Cannon more than a Turkish fast imp into Hand Cannon, Bombard Cannon. But yeah, you can just you can play Castle Age Aggression, you can play fast imp, you can play kind of an in-between ground, so you could try to play for a long game. But I would assume, especially considering that Saracens was Hera's second pick, I would assume that he's gonna go for an aggressive strategy. There is no point picking Saracens if you want to play a long game and like go for ETC boom and whatnot. So I guess Hera has something on his mind that with Saracens that's usually aggressive plays, because Saracens are a great short-term aggressive civ because you can actually balance set or eco with the market. That's not something that is a long-term solution, but in short games and aggressive games, that's actually very helpful. And this is what makes Saracens an extremely good and aggressive civ. I love them on Arena, to be honest. Alright, so the game is ready and we will jump inside. And here we go. Saracens versus Teutons. Let's talk about Teutons here. The tricky thing is that normally with Saracens you could do a monk push, but you don't do that against Teutons. because Teutons get additional conversion resistance. It's not like something that you want to mass against. So this is tricky. This is very, very tricky over here. Teutons have an insanely good eco and a very, very lethal late game push. Something that pretty much just devastates Saracens. So you want to play aggressive if you're Hera with Saracens, but you can't just go Monk and Siege because that's not going to work against Teutons. So I would say that this is... I'm a big fan of 1v1 fast imps in Arena. I think this is one of those places where a fast Imperial from Hera with Saracens is actually justified. Because something that Teuton would not really be able to defend against well is a Saracen fast Imperial Arbalest and Bombard Cannon play. What can they do against that? Their early army consists of Knights, something that's gonna melt, to Arbalests. Mangonel defense doesn't work well. This is tricky for Hera. If he plays this right, I feel like he can punish Modri pretty hard over here. We'll see how Modri plays this one. But one thing that we'll have to keep in mind is that if this game goes long, Modri is going to have an insane advantage. Because the Teuton economy is extremely strong. They have a very, very good late game composition. Probably something like Halbdier Onager or potentially Paladin Onager is something that we have to consider for the Teuton player. The Saracen player is going to have to play aggressive here. Anyways, you had 2 sheep on the outside for both players, no laming or whatsoever attempted. So, let's take a look at the base of the players. A little bit of a backspace for both players, not something that's super, super huge, but it's not like it's a big deal. Backstone for Hera is nice, but both of his golds are actually pretty far out on the front, something I massively dislike, and he doesn't have a back gold. This could be troublesome if Modri is the aggressor, and that's the tricky part in pulling off a fast imp if you're Hera. If Modri goes for a Monk and Siege push, Hera could lose both of his gold mines, and that's actually pretty scary. The secondary stone and additional golds are all on the outside. This isn't great either for Hera. Look at this. His neutral gold and the secondary gold and the stone are basically the same screen, which means that he could lose all of these very soon, whereas if you take a look at Modri's base, this is the neutral gold that's supposed to belong to him. It's not that much better because it's kind of close to Hera, but his secondary gold is out here and this neutral stone for him is over here, and his secondary stone is also a little bit further away here. So, let's be honest, it's not a great map for Hera. Other side, Modri's gold is actually pretty nice. If he chops down these trees, which is something that he might be able to do, we might see a TC being dropped over here. Modri is only 3 on wood. That could be because he doesn't need that much wood for farms, so he's just gonna do 23 plus 2. But we could also see Modri going up to feudal fast here. So something like 20 pop feudal into eco upgrades and then castle age is something that could be on Modri's mind here. Other side, Hera, he did push in all of his deer. And he's 4 on wood, so it's a standard FC. Not perfect that he has 3 and 1 distribution of veils, but it's not something that's anything problematic. And yeah, I guess Hera's probably gonna sell some stone and buy some gold, no matter, or well, mine some gold and buy resources with that. That's probably not a matter of question. The question is, what exactly is going to be his build for this one? He once again isn't dropping farms in Dark Age, something that I've noticed with him, and I feel like that's a little bit of efficiency loss over here for him. Not a massive thing. We saw it in the previous game that we didn't really have any trouble from him. He had to drop 4 farms without Horse Color instead of, let's say, 3, but I prefer what Modri is doing here. Add 2 farms early, make sure that your sheep last until you can get Horse Color, so you will end up with like 2 or 3 farms without Horse Color instead of dropping 4 or 5. Modri second lumber camp on the outside. It's going to be a standard FC from Modri over here. And on the other side, Hera dropping the wool mining camp on the goal. So it seems like both players are going for what is going to be a pretty standard FC. Hera might actually do 23 plus 2 over here. Nope. It ends up being a 24 plus 2. Modri, he's going to do 24 plus 2 as well, most likely. 4 on berries on both sides, as it is standard. And one thing that I'm noticing is that Hera is very heavy on food. But with 24 villagers up, this is very unlikely to be a fast Imperial. Interesting that he went 3 on gold. If you actually send the 3 villagers right when you are clicking up or after, you probably are planning to buy 100 food. Because you don't need free villagers on gold. You are going to see that Hera is going to be floating a bit of a gold here. And it looks like indeed he's going to be buying pretty heavily. There is a barracks. Is this going to be a Castle Age crossbow push? That would be a bad idea. But it's either going to be scouts to contest the relics, or it's going to be archers. But I wouldn't understand the scouts play because, I mean, Modri can make his own scouts, and that's going to be a lot more efficient than what Saracens can do. And I just don't see the long-term purpose of using Saracens to, you know, go for a stable up. I am not 100% sure if that's what should happen. Modri's actually going up at 25 villagers. And, well, he's gonna have a barracks as well. So this is stable blacksmith for Modri. And he will probably just play relic contest into 2 or 3 TCs, boom. Relics indeed look very, very nice for Hera. These 2 are contested, but these are definitely much, much better for Hera. So he will definitely try going for them. And there is the stable, and there's going to be a market as well. I am not a huge fan of this. I'm not a huge fan. Like, are you actually trying to go scout war into, like, against Teutons? That's not something that you want to do. I'm not 100% sure what Hera's plan is here. Like, he could try contesting relics. My problem is that Teutons will stomp Saracens in late game. So I'm really, really, really not convinced that this is how Hera is supposed to be playing this one. He might actually be able to pull it off, but Modri already has a pretty decent eco. He actually prioritized getting a double bit axe, and he's going for 25 plus 2 over here still, but he could squeeze in double bit axe a little bit earlier, so I guess it's still fine. And looking at Hera's POV, Hera is missing the stable just by a single tile. That's actually a nice building placement from Modri. He's not revealing the stable just yet. And now the real question is, what is Hera up to? He's sending villagers to wood. It looks like he has enough wood to drop a monastery. Maybe even will be able to afford an additional TC. Now adding farms. He's playing pretty standard over here. And I am not a big fan of that. Like, one of the things that you get with Saracens is that you have to play aggressive because your eco isn't great and you will have to rely heavily on buying resources and selling resources. So, Hera actually sold 100 stone, by the way, to go up. As you see over here, he only has 100 remaining, and he hasn't dropped an additional TC just yet, of course, because he's still H2. So, he actually bought 100, or sold 100 stone. But look at this. By the way, Teutons will actually get 1 extra melee armor on their scouts when they reach H3. So, this is why I don't understand Hera's play. His scouts will not even be an even match to Modri's scouts. Modri's scouts will be better. So, I'm really unsure about this for Hera. I'm hoping that he's gonna have a plan, because if he just plans to play standard scouts relics into kind of a boom play, then it's something that he's gonna get punished for in late game. So, as you see, now it's Castle Age plus 1 melee armor for those scouts immediately. The spearmen also get that melee armor, which also is very, very nice. It's not like Hera can convert any units here, even the spearmen, because the conversion resistance will be there. It's somewhat understandable Hera is going for a scouts play in order to try and prevent Monk and Siege play he died to in the previous game, but he already lost control over the middle, and I would be massively surprised if he was able to grab more than 2 relics over here in this one. And that's a 1 TC build. I'm honestly super convinced on Hera's build here. Like, he's trying to get scouts up, but Modri, he's dropping TC number 2. Modri is gonna have the same eco upgrades but cheaper farms. He's gonna start grabbing relics over here without any problems, and his army is just much, much better in the middle. Oh, that was a big black spike. So, like, at this point, Hera will probably try to snipe monks. That's my best bet. But, I mean, Modri can just try and chase down those scouts over here with his own. Remember that Teutons don't have husbandry on their scouts, so the speed isn't that great. But you can already see that Modri is just prioritizing keeping that monk alive. Now, considering that he's not contesting the right side relics, Hera might actually be able to get some for himself. Like, this one is probably going to be his, but Modri should be able to secure the other 3 over here. Like, based on the investment in the middle, Hera shouldn't really be getting a lot of relics over here. Now that's a nice snipe from Hera. That's a beautiful, beautiful snipe. A scout goes down, but Hera is getting quite a lot of value out of his scouts. And honestly, if Hera grabs 5 relics here, and honestly, he might be in the course to grab 5 relics, then maybe he can compensate for his weaker economy. I'm still not a fan of this 1 TC Saracen play here. And now it's a second TC. He's just gonna get outboomed by Modri pretty hard over here. But truth being told, the fact that Hera is actually going to be able to grab those relics is going to be huge. Light Cav is in for Hera. A Monk was sniped down. Hera possesses 1 relic right now. Modri is without 1. But because the Light Cav is here on the left side, there's a chance we're going to see Modri being able to steal 1 or 2 relics on the right side. So, remember, these are Teuton Spearmen, so it's a little bit harder to convert them, but there is 1 conversion. And as things stand, Modri stopped making scouts, so Hera seems to be maybe able to overpower him. And we're gonna have a micro war here. That Monk should die. Modri's gonna be able to snipe that Monk, but the scouts go down as well. So I guess that was some value over there for Modri. He is going to save 1 relic for himself, snipe the Monk on the north. So there is a chance that Modri is going to be able to grab another relic from here. Pretty soon another Monk comes out. Hera is heavy on the micro here, so I guess he didn't notice this Monk being killed over here. But still, I'm not sure, like, at this point I could see Modri adding 1 Knight. Because in the left side there's just no Monks right now, and 1 Knight would do so much to deal with this light cavalry. That being said, that's Modri's second relic coming in, and despite the fact that now Hera is theoretically winning the middle, it doesn't seem to show. Because, guess what, the Monks aren't able to reach the relics, and I guess Modri is just looking for the Monks here with his scout, trying to snipe them down. And at the end of the day, Hera went for Light Cav, and Modri is still going to end up with at least 2 relics, potentially 3. If Modri plays this right, maybe even 4. Hera is playing on 2 TCs, adding TC number 3 just now. Modri has been on 3 TCs for a while, so it's 8 villagers lead. But he is without Boso. There is sensitivity for Modri, so he definitely wants to grab those relics for himself. He isn't gonna give up on that. And we'll see if he's actually able to get that. There's actually 1 converted scout here on the field as well. It's full HP. And it looks like Modri is gonna loop all the way around and try to steal that. Spears poking down 1 scout over here. Hera is about to pick that relic up. On the left side, there's also Monk from Hera's thing. Is honestly, Hera's had a very, very good relic spawn over here, but he also played this right. And I disagree with Modri stopping to invest in the middle, because he started off by adding quite a lot of scouts, but at the end of the day, he kind of quit making them, and Hera's going to be able to get away taking 3 relics here, in what I think should have been 3 relics for Modri based on the investment in the middle. Hera went for Light Cav upgrade, but I feel like Modri should have been able to grab 3 relics here. Now, he might actually get lucky with this one. Oh, he sees the Monk for a brief moment, but he didn't notice it. He didn't notice the Monk, and the Monk is gonna go back. Yeah, it's free too. The thing is that it's not really a huge advantage for Hera, though. Hera has 0 on stone, so he's not really selling stone right now. And I would assume that he's planning to go into Imperial here. But if you look at the resources, Modri is going to click up at basically the same time, 9 villagers ahead. Teuton farms are also cheaper, and their late game unit comp is something I like a little bit more as well for Modri. So, at the end of the day, yes, Hera has 3 relics, but I just dislike his position quite a bit. So, much stronger eco, a unit comp that is capable of beating Saracens, and if Modri gets a second building up, he's gonna be able to click up very soon to Imperial. Same thing for Hera, I believe. Hera has a monastery and no second building just yet. Modri is heavy on stone as well. There is quite a lot of conversion attempts. 1 Light Cav gets converted. Hera, for now, is just using those scouts to run around. I think Modri wanted to click up, but he forgot about the second building because he's rushing this one up with like 10 villagers. But he is about to click into Imperial here with what is a 6 villagers lead. But it's only 6 vills. So it's not like Modri's beating Hera by a massive margin in terms of villager counts. That's the main concern, I believe, for Modri. He was probably hoping for a bigger advantage. That being said, I still prefer the late game comp of the Teuton player over here, and opening that gate is something that Modri is going to get away with. A little bit better macro, by the way, from Hera here. So if you take a look at the TC idle time, Hera has 30 seconds, 2.5 minutes from Modri. So apparently Modri was microing his stuff quite hard, and that caused a lot of TC idle time. Probably one of the reasons why the Voyager difference is only 4. But anyways, that is going to be a castle being dropped in a matter of moments from Modri. The question is, where is that castle going to go up? And as expected, there will be crossbows or orbs from Hera. And here's the problem. How do you actually stop a Halberdier plus Onager push from the Teuton player, or Paladin plus Onager push? It's all doable for Modri. This castle is going to be spotted. Let's see if Modri is going to try getting some conversions. Yes, he will. He will try getting some conversions. No conversions connect. So I think Hera's actually able to deal with the biggest problem that he has had, and that is that his eco is going to be much weaker than Modri's, because his macro was a little bit better, and that allows him to be able to pretty much match the eco of Modri. And if Hera plays this one smart, he's gonna be able to go for orbs and bombard cannons. He needs to go like ASAP bombard cannons, because his orbs will melt to onagers. So ballistics, flexion, crossbow over here for Hera, almost up to Imperial. Imp is almost there as well for Modri, and Modri is gonna go for Halberdier and Onager here most likely. There is the other Siege Workshop indeed, that's Hob Onager, very, very standard. The win condition is going to be if Hera can actually get bombard cannons out fast here. Really, that's the question. Because if bombard cannons are there, the Onagers might struggle. But if the bombard cannons aren't there in time, things will just go awfully bad for Hera, because the Onagers will just eat his orbs. That being said, Modri isn't getting Onager upgrade just yet. He's prioritizing chemistry, which means that we might see bombard cannons pretty soon over here. There is the first trap out. Hera grabbing his first trap as well. Botkin are on the way, but the problem for Hera is that it doesn't have a lot of crossbows. So, yeah, it's traps, but the faster Imperial from Modri could mean that he could get to bombard cannons pretty soon, or more traps that also works out fine. And there's the Onager upgrade I was referencing to. And Hera will try getting chemistry and bombard cannon right now, grabbing Orb for just a few crossbows. He's gonna try massing that, but he's gonna have to repair that castle for it. He's got the Voyager numbers to do that. And, well, Onagers will be on the way. I guess Hera will try to get a snipe in, but there is already quite a lot of pikemen. And, well, the Onagers are a little bit mispositioned. Modri also has quite a lot of monks here to try and get some conversions in. It's 2 versus 1 traps, and what's more important is that the traps here are targeting the castle, and when you're targeting the castle, you have 100% hit rate. Onagers getting caught off guard, that's a very, very bad fight for Modri. That's an awful fight. Saves 2 Onagers though, and remember, his Onagers are hitting the castle, whereas the opponent's Onager is targeting that specific trap over there. So this allows Modri to constantly be able to put out damage. He needs to keep adding traps though. Like 2 traps here is not enough. Keep making traps, otherwise you're not gonna be able to win this trap war. Whoever makes the more traps here and keeps them alive is going to win the trap war here. And Hera's doing a better job of that right now. It's already the 3rd trap coming out. Modri doesn't have a 3rd trap coming, and that's a mistake. I feel like he's throwing his advantage away here. He's supposed to be making traps constantly, because you want to make sure that you outnumber your opponent in trap numbers. That's the way to win games, or at least win trap fights. And there will be bombard cannons as well, something that Modri isn't prepared to deal with. Now, that trap is actually getting relatively weak over here. Bombard cannon getting out micro. There is a big Onager shot in the middle. Monk's also out for Hera. Remember that he's got Redemption available. So, theoretically, he can actually convert those Onagers. This is looking pretty bad for Modri. As I said, the question is, can he actually get this push done before the bombard cannon is shoved in? The answer is no. The answer is no, and he actually misplayed this one quite badly by stopping to make traps here. This is a scenario that Modri shouldn't lose, but I think he misplayed this one pretty badly. Like, as I said, trap war is won by whoever keeps his traps alive and makes more of them. This might be game over here, because I don't necessarily see Modri being able to stop this push with just castles. He's gonna try making bombard cannons and try to snap the traps, but the Arbalasts are actually doing a beautiful job staying in front. Crenellations is on the way, so those Arbalasts and bombard cannons would be pushed away, but it's only fletching. So, Crenellations, you might need Botkin as well for that, and there is Modri coming in with Botkin. He knows that that castle is basically what decides between life and death here. That's basically it. Now the bombard cannons will go down, and that's actually pretty important because if you have a castle that covers this range, you might be able to get your own bombard cannons out to take down Hera's traps over there. But this all could have been avoided if Modri kept making traps, I believe. And yeah, the Crenellation Castle will help quite a bit over here. Onager getting some shots in, barely hitting anything, as Modri is running out of stone over here quite rapidly. The bombard can needs to kill the traps ASAP. If this castle goes down, Modri is going to lose this game. I'm just saying that. And it doesn't seem like he can actually defend this castle. He's got like 6 military against 36, and here comes the light cav. Modri is going to try and stop that, but he actually lost all his pikemen by now. Those pikemen are still quite weak. Monks getting picked off. There is a nice little bombard cannon micro hussar on the way for Hera. That castle is still standing for both sides. If Hera loses his own castle, he's gonna be in trouble as well. As the first trap sets up, Hera's castle is in flames. Hera's castle is in flames and he's not repairing. Hera isn't repairing. Hussars dive in, try to snipe the trebuchet. Trab is still alive. Castle finishing off quite a lot of those arbalasts. The castle still lives, but barely, and there's more hussars coming from Hera. Modri isn't going to win a game with free military. He isn't going to win this. There is no way he keeps this alive. This is full-on desperation and a huge misplay from my Modri. He got outnumbered in trap numbers, and that's not something that you're supposed to be allowing when you are the faster player at Imperial. He stopped making traps. He should have been able to kill this castle, and that is a difference maker. Because if he kills that castle, Hera doesn't have a castle of his own, like a second castle that would have been able to make traps and kill the castles here. Because Hera is using traps mainly as siege weapons. Bombard cannons wouldn't kill the Crenellation castles. By the way, Hera's got a large opening on his left side, so Modri might be able to raid his way back into this game somehow. But he needs to actually be able to raid. He's got 6 military, and it's not like I see Modri getting anything out on the field. This is basically booming to GG from Modri. His largest military count is going to be something like 20. Oh man, that feels so bad. That feels so bad. And this is not what should have happened for Modri. Number one, I feel like he invested more into the fight with the scouts than Hera did, but didn't actually get the relics that he wanted from that. Number two, he was only 4 villagers ahead of Hera, despite being on 2 and 3. This is much, much faster, despite having a Teuton eco compared to a Saracen eco. I feel like this, what you see over here, in fact, double the villager idle time, but TC idle time is less for Modri right now, but this was quite a lot compared to Hera. Hera just stopped making villagers at the end of the game, but for the majority of the game, Modri had more TC idle time than Hera did. And this is the win condition here. You can't afford to let the opponent get to Arbalast and Bombard Cannon, because then your onagers are useless, and that's exactly what happened over here. You also have to wonder if Paladin onager would have been a little bit better. It's tricky because then Hera can go for camels, but that takes quite a lot of time to tech into, and I feel like you get a lot more value for, even if it's not a Paladin, just a Cavalier, than you get for a Halberdier. Halberdiers will be eaten by Arbs, whereas Cavaliers alone can actually be good enough to snipe some bombard cannons, to potentially engage some Arbs, whereas you don't have that chance with Halberdiers. So that's also something that is worth a debate here. Maybe instead of Halberdier and Onager, Cavalier Onager could have been a slightly better choice for Modri. But I think the key is that he was just too slow. Maybe like small things like missing the second building to click up actually matter here, because he would have actually had like a 20-ish seconds advantage into Imp as well, which would have meant a little bit more time as well, where he can trap down Hera's castles without Hera being able to respond. And also, huge mistake stopping to produce traps. Hera just outproduced him in traps, and if you get outproduced like that, you're just gonna lose the trap war, and that's exactly what happened. Alright, so 75 kills for Hera, 50 deaths, but this is what really stands out here. 19 total military against 46. And you see Hera's gradual increase in army. Modri never had a huge army. This was all built on, okay, I'm gonna trap that castle down. That was all built on that. I'm pretty sure that Modri's plan was to, okay, push with onagers and crenellation castles. And the crenellation castles would prevent the bombard cannons from being able to do much. But that only works if you kill Hera's castle. And I feel like Modri didn't actually focus enough on killing that castle. 2 traps aren't really going to be enough, and that's exactly what we saw over there. Alright. So, that leaves us with 1-1 scoreline and Teutons gone for Modri, his first pick. It kind of feels weird that his first pick was pretty much, okay, let's do free TC boom and then try to win with onagers and just crenellation castles. Maybe a different plan had he encountered a different civ, but still, I feel like this is one of those games where it pretty much is like a boom into GG type of scenario. By the way, that's a win and that's a loss. Alright, game number 3. Hera is the... Yeah, indeed. The thing is that this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the series, that Hera is the 3rd best player in the world. Well, it's debated how good he is, but he's top 5. I think everybody agrees that he's top 5. And if you play standard like that, you probably aren't really going to make life very hard for Hera, because matchmaking also has arena, so it's not like Hera hasn't played arena for a while. So you need to be a little bit more aggressive, and I'm just not sure what Modri was thinking, because I think this game should have been winnable for him. Alright, next game is getting ready, and we'll probably jump inside. So far, I think this is actually a good matchup. It's so far pretty fun. APM wise, Hera is top 2 or 3. Top 2 is a bit ambitious because there's Leary. Like, APM wise, Leary is probably like Leary might be the best or highest APM player out there. Hera is probably in top 5 in that aspect. Decision making is an interesting question. I feel like Hera's got a very, very good decision making. I feel like the thing is that when I could actually... Oh, it's hard to say. I feel like, as weird as it sounds, I think what Hera is missing the most from his gameplay is comeback potential. He's got a chance to come back, but if you compare a player like, let's say, MBL to Hera, you see MBL being able to come back from impossible scenarios a lot more frequently. I feel like if Hera was able to come back from more games where he's actually behind, he would probably be even better than he is right now. But of course, it's pretty hard, and I'm not saying that he is someone that never comes back from bad games, but I feel like, especially if you remember Hidden Cup 3, for example, every time he fell behind in a game versus Viper, it was just no chance to come back, or at least it didn't seem like it. Of course, Hera has been improving insanely over last year. So, like, remember that Hera actually started out as, back when, like, in 2019, Hera was a backup player behind MBL Nikov in AM, and his first tournament, like real tournament performance where he really performed well, was NAC3. So it's only like 1 year ever since Hera has been good, and he still has a lot of improvement potential in him, I believe. So yeah, I feel like apparently some people also agree with me that Hera isn't really remembered for his great comebacks. He's actually remembered for executing very, very well when things go well. And he's doing an excellent job at being able to execute things well and getting an advantage. But if he falls behind significantly, you rarely see him coming back from those. Or at least I don't remember any major comeback from Hera. Like, if you compare him to MBL, let's say, like every second game MBL plays goes into like a 2.5 hour long post-Imperial scenario where the map runs out of wood. You don't see that much from Hera. He's one of those players that likes to decide games fast, if possible. So, anyways, we got another game over here. Left side is Hera in blue, playing as Portuguese. Right side is Modri as Red Slavs. So we have a very similar matchup to the previous one. You have an Archer Civ for Hera, and you have a strong eco Cavalry Civ. Potentially a Cavalry Civ that has a much stronger eco than Hera's gonna have. This is very similar to the previous setup. You got the Portuguese, which don't really have an amazing eco. They will have the cheaper gold units, which is a very, very helpful thing, and one of the reasons why I love them on Arena as a civilization, and probably consider them an A-tier Arena civ. And on the other hand, you will have Modri, who's gonna have the much better eco, but late game unit composition wise, the same problem could actually unfold, even though we also have to add that Slavs have great siege rams. So if we see Halberdier and siege ram push from Modri, that could be something that makes it very, very hard for the Archer player to deal with. In fact, what Modri has to play for is probably maybe not even 3 TCs, but maybe 2 TCs into a little bit faster Imperial, and then go Halberdier and siege ram, and just open up the game with that. Because if Hera plays 3 TCs and like play for the relics, which are by the way very well distributed between the players, then he isn't really gonna have a huge archer number. We'll see what Hera is up to, by the way. I'm not 100% sure that he's going to fight for relics with scouts. We'll see. Technically, I think that if Hera... The only thing that Hera could die here in this game is a Halberdier and siege ram push. However, that has to come in early Imperial when Hera doesn't have an army. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. But it's a little bit tricky once again. I feel like if Hera is allowed to get to the crossbow numbers, or like 20 crossbows, get to Imp and get Bombard Cannon, we could see a very, very similar game to the previous one, where Hera is just able to punish Modri for that. We'll see what the case is, but it's a very, very similar setup to what we had before. Early deer pushes from Modri over here. In fact, he didn't get a single boar of his in just yet. You also have to add the fact that you have cows on this map. It's 4 cows, which means you're gonna have 6 cows. 6 cows is 900 food. If you have 900 food, that means that you can actually get away with the late farms that Hera is often doing. So that's also a benefit for Hera right now over here. And this one gets the first boar in just now. I would still prefer if 1 or 2 farms would be added, but I trust Hera that he's able to pull it off the way he's playing it. It might not be 100% efficient, but I don't think that's something that really needs to be criticized either. I'm just pointing that out. That same thing for Modri, especially with Slavs here. It would make a ton of sense for him to add some farms. The only reason why he's probably not doing it is because he's only 3 on wood. If he was 4 on wood, you would already add 2 farms by now here. Because especially with Slavs that even get her faster from farms, you just want to make sure that your herdables last as long as possible. That's not really an ideal house spot, so I assume Modri would just get housed, and that's why he's dropping it over there. And the boar is gonna get killed at the right spot. That was a little bit tight for Modri, but not something that he cannot get away with. Alright, so front gold, front stone for Modri. He's got a back gold as well. Secondary golden stone on the outside as well. Looking at Hera's base, somewhat similar, but he's got the stone at the back. So this is a little bit better map for Hera. Both players have a reasonable amount of space at the back, but I think Modri has a little bit more space to work with. Like, it's a huge clearing here. Hera doesn't have that much space. Not something that matters that much, but it's something worth talking about. Okay, so here is Hera dropping the farms now, so See? This is much better in this case. This is something that I totally support for Hera, and something that I do not support for Modri, but we'll see what Modri is up to. Because this might be a very, very fast castle here. Yeah, he's cleaning up the feudal, and this is not for eco upgrades. No, there is no way. Something is wrong with this build for Modri. He's sending free to gold. The only way this works out is if he's buying himself up. But considering that he only has a farming bonus with Slavs, it's not like he's gonna have more resources than any other civilization here, so he's gonna have to do some huge trickery here to make sure that he can click up to Castle Age after +2 wills. But it could just be a bait, remember that. He might be adding 3 or 4 wills in feudal, and might be baiting Hera to think that this is a fast feudal. Or he could still go for the eco upgrades and click up later, but in that case I don't understand the 3 Voyagers on gold, because that's a little bit too early. Still, I would love to hear what Hera is thinking about the top time, because that's a little bit scary when you're playing Arena, because you're like, okay, what's gonna happen? Why is he up so fast? Hera's gonna go for a front gold. I always support players going for a front gold in scenarios like this, because if you get pushed, you will still have your back gold intact. So I always prioritize, or also prefer to have the villagers on the front, gathering first, and then leave this as a backup in case your base get pushed. Alright, so what is Modri up to? Surprisingly, his resources are looking pretty decent to what is going to be an insanely fast castle here. Like, might be 21 plus 3, but that's still super, super fast. How? How did Modri pull this off? I'm legit surprised. I think one of the ingredients to this was that he pushed in the deer first, so he was pretty much consuming hunt until own hunt was gone. But still, this is actually admirable. And this is not through Slavic farming. Slavs food eco. Jesus. This is the 21 plus 2. And it's not like the extra from the cows. The extra from the cows is 100 food, and you still have 200 food over here, lying on the ground. So, this is not from the extra cows. But this is a crazy build from Modri. Never seen anything like that. This is ultra mega titan, honestly. Even with Mongols, 21 plus 2 is something that you say, okay, that was actually a nice fast castle. But Slavs only get farming bonus, and there is not even a single farm from Modri. So I think the key was that he actually... Oh, he sold his stone. He sold his stone. I didn't see that. Well, even with selling stone, this is nice. I thought he didn't sell his stone. The tricky thing is that I didn't see him selling that stone at a time, and I was like, he's already 600 food. Yeah, that makes sense. Slavs aren't supposed to be able to do a 21 plus 2 no matter what without selling stone. With selling stone, it works perfectly fine. And I wonder what the plan is for Modri, because there is no barracks, so it's not going to be scouts. Is he gonna buy the stone back? You would assume it's a monk push, and Slavs can do that pretty nicely, but there is no forward voyager. So, all this fast castle age isn't going to help you if there is no forward voyager. And he's heavy on wood. That's a lot of villagers on gold. It has to be monks then. Yeah, it has to be monks for Modri. There is 1, 2... A little bit low on wood to drop this third monastery, but yeah, it's going to be a monk push. Same thing that he played in game number 1. And honestly, Hera's gonna have to pay attention here. Because Hera is without a blacksmith, so it's not like he's gonna get some archers out to stop this. In fact, if Hera makes the same mistake he did in the first game, he's gonna get punished the same way. It's 2 monks only. There is the third monastery from Modri, and I guess he's going to do... This is the exact same build that he did in first game, just clicking up a little bit earlier. Because first game as well, as I said, he wasn't actually gathering food from farms. He was buying food the whole time. This is why he skipped horse color as well. It works as a short-term thing, but not so much as a long-term. And Hera sees the monasteries. That's the difference as well to the first game. In the first game, Hera didn't see the monasteries, so I think Hera is now going for his own monks here. But if Hera went for some light cap, that could also cause a lot of headache for Modri. Modri is gonna drop some farms still. I mean, one of the reasons why you can do this well with Slavs is that your farming eco is also going to be great, so it's not like you are in the need of having a huge amount of villagers. Did I say blacksmith? I wanted to say barracks. Yes. Because obviously you would need a barracks for a stable, but it seemed like Hera has no intentions doing that and he's gonna go atonement. Not barracks against monks, stables. But you need a barracks to get a stable out. That's why I said that. If you see a barracks here, Hera would probably go for a stable and then scouts. But since there is no barracks, it's just monks with atonement to defend. Now, the thing is that Modri is just collecting relics for now. And you wonder if this is a fake from Modri. 3 monasteries is kind of overcommitment, but something I pointed out is that, as you see in the first game, Modri did hide the monasteries. In this game, he didn't hide them. Which makes me believe that maybe he wanted to force Hera to make monks here. Because I assume that he might want to force Hera to panic here a little bit and go for a huge investment on defense, but as you see, it's not like Modri is gonna push very hard over here. He's only on 1 TC and still adding more villagers to gold. But there is no 4 villager for Siege Workshop. So I'm a little bit unconvinced on what Modri is doing. He's now going for Fervor. And he's definitely picking up relics. And now there is a forward Siege Workshop. So it turns out that he's going to do the same thing as in the previous game. And Hera doesn't have... Oh, that's so bad for Modri. Oh, that's so unlucky. He gets one of his scouts converted. This might be GG here. This might be Omega GG. 2 monks converted from Modri. Scout converted. This scout could actually just pick that villager off. They could pick off the monks. And Hera's gonna be on 2 TCs. 4 villagers already with Boso and Horse Color. Rest for Modri. He is 1 TC. Yes, he is 3 monasteries and he's got 3 relics. But I don't know, man. How is Modri going to catch up with this? Someone get that MBL quote on Monks in Arena? Yes. So, this is the ultimate clown experience, but this game is over here. Unless, like, what is Modri going to do? He's gonna add another monastery. The way to do this is to add another monastery. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. What is this? The ultimate clown experience, ladies and gentlemen. And it's like, now, the only way you can identify which monk belonged to who is that Hera's monks only have 30 HP, Modri's monks have 45. So this was Modri's monk, Modri's, and this one is a converted one from Hera. This one's also Modri's monk. And guess what? Now Hera is losing all his monks because apparently all his monks used up his conversion power. So that's a lot of dead bodies across the field. Oh, yeah, indeed. This is like copy-paste MBLs. I converted one monk, I converted back thing. Like, MBL pretty much described this game a couple of times ago. And I wonder if, like, after all this carnage, things might go a little bit differently. So, here's the thing. Villagers trying to get converted. That's one villager converted. And Modri deletes it because he would get converted back. Another monk converted, but he's out of monk juice, so he's gonna have to just, you know, run around right now. Hera still has 3 monks with monk juice, tries to get that conversion in, and deletes. I think there will actually be more deleted units in this game than actual kills. Another monk gets converted, immediate deletion by Modri, another monk gets converted. Hera is being clowned upon pretty hard over here. That's like the... Honestly, for those who don't watch arena games frequently, this is not always how it plays out. This is actually one of the more rare arena games, but you start to see why arena players are often called arena clowns. And by the way, Modri is buying himself up to Imperial, and let's see if we're going to end up dropping a castle just like he did before. He might end up dropping a castle. He isn't mining stone, but that doesn't mean anything here. He could just try to buy the castle because he might have the gold mining upgrades. I don't know. Those aren't shown on the screen. But if he has the gold mining upgrades, it might make more sense to just buy the stone. And Choo Choo, what are you gonna do to kill the rams? You can't. You can actually convert rams from up close, right? If you have redemption, but none of the players actually have redemption. Look at that. Hera's getting ultimately clowned upon. Modri's monk micro is insane, by the way. He's dragging away the monks that are being converted and using that. He converted 4 monks from Hera over here, and he's blocking the entry here. He's using 2 monks to block the entry of these monks into this base. There is going to be another monk converted. Honestly, I'm going to upload the entire series to YouTube, but this actually will go into YouTube as a highlight game as well. Oh, the arena clowns. Hera is gonna lose the relics, and Modri is gonna say, haste of the century. We take those, boys, we take those, as Hera would say. 1 relic is bye-bye. Hera is going into Imperial. Hera's got 23 villagers lead right now and trying to remake his monasteries that are getting absolutely clapped. And Modri, as I said, he's mining stone now. Monastery is gonna get destroyed. There's 25 military on the field for Modri. Out of that, I see 15 monks. But guess what? Redemption lets you convert siege weapons, so you can convert the rams. And now, Hera is using the battering ram to kill a monk. Block printing, illumination, theocracy coming in here immediately. Some more Vululus. This one is gonna get Vululu'd in the other direction. And this monk actually is getting beaten up by some battering rams. I should get some clown music in here because, as I said, if you ever wonder why arena players are called clowns, think about this game, okay? By the way, Modri is about to drop a castle. The thing is that Hera is not up to Imp, and that's huge, because now Modri is gonna have block printing, and he's gonna have 12 range. It's like longbows versus crossbows, just a little bit different of a play style. And the thing is that now it's going to end up in a trap war, or Modri could actually try stopping that castle. He's got the monks. He can actually stop that castle over there. But he bails out. He does bail out. Block printing is on the way. Remember, Hera's got a much stronger eco, even though Modri technically has Slavic farmers. It's actually 4 villagers. But he could have stopped that castle, he just didn't want to commit. And right now, once again, Hera's got 16 military out of that 12 monks, 2 battering rams, and 1 mangonel, perfectly balanced as all things should be. And Hera's gonna get his castle up faster. Whoever gets the trap race out is going to have the advantage. And Hera sees the castle. Look at that, look at this! Look at this! Mangonel gets converted and it lands a shot on the opponent's monks. Battering rams trying to finish off the mangonels. I have no idea who won at this game, but I feel like this fight was won by Modri over here by a small margin. Monks healing inside that monastery, and that monk is trying to run away. Run! And now it's gonna get killed by the arrows. First trap is out. Whoever wins this trap war might win the game, by the way. So, whoever you are, you have to keep making traps. And remember that in the previous game, Modri lost because of a bad trap fight. He can't actually afford to do that again. So, he needs to keep adding traps, that's the priority, and keep repairing that castle. The problem for him is that he can only mobilize 9 villagers to repair the castle, which would be enough against like 1.5 traps, whereas Hera can pull 30 villas immediately. So, I think Hera is in a good spot here. The thing is that he's gonna have a second castle and he can mobilize a lot more villas to repair the castle. But he's running short on stone here, 2 traps out for Modri. And remember that Modri's gonna have to start repairing that. He's gonna have to pull the villas to repair. I feel like it's already too late. That's already very late for him to repair, but Hera is out of stone. Hera's gonna have to start buying stone here to save that castle. He has enough villagers, I believe, to repair against a second trap, but a third trap should be able to finish this one off. A third trap is going to be able to finish this one off, but Hera is also adding his third trap and the fourth trap as well. Hera is doing this castle defense very nicely. Some more monk arenas, getting some conversions, but it actually means nothing here. Whoever wins this trap fight is going to win the game, and as I said, I feel like Hera can mobilize more villagers to keep that castle alive. Modri stalls out at 7 villagers getting that castle repaired, whereas Hera is pulling like 25 villas, and that's exactly what he should be doing. Shouldn't Hera send in the Ramsey converted? No. Makes 0 sense. Monks will get it converted from a close range. Doesn't matter. What matters is constantly producing traps here and making sure that your castle is repaired all the time. And now, well, one castle might go down here from Hera, to be honest. And I think that's a somewhat acceptable trade for Modri if he can keep repairing the traps. The win condition now for Modri is that, like the only win condition, is if he can somehow take down these castles without losing his own traps, which is going to be awfully hard. Some Vululu, counter Vululu here. Hera is just buying stone, and buying stone. Monks still. I will actually be curious about the conversion statistics at the end of the game. Hera, how is he doing with stone? He's running out of gold. Hera's eco is also very messy. Hera's got like 30 idols right now. So remember that Modri's eco is a lot weaker than Hera's eco. But Modri's eco is more or less working, whereas Hera's eco is super idle, but that's not something Modri can afford. That's a huge loss over there. He can't replenish those traps. Kills one castle, so that's something, but that should have been, like, that trap needs to survive. He needs to keep his own traps alive, otherwise this game is not gonna happen for him. Hera also takes a bunch of villagers to the outside. Modri bringing in some more monks, but as long as one castle stands, Hera's gonna be able to keep his base defend, and now it's only one trap for Modri. And one trap you need 7 villas to repair against that. That's more than... like, that's way more than Modri can actually do damage against. This is over. This is over at this point, because from now on Modri is behind by 50 villas basically. Hera's gonna be able to fix his eco. Hera's eco is an ultimate utter mess. Like, we're talking about 32 idols right now on this, just on this screen. It's a total mess. But it doesn't matter, because as long as this castle is standing, the monks will do absolutely nothing. The thing is, however, yeah, the idle time is crazy for Hera's eco. If you compare it to Modri's eco, it's much better, but Modri doesn't actually have any, like... Look at this eco. 0 upgrades, barely any villagers, he isn't even producing wills. He's trying to stop this one, but this is never gonna happen, because Hera can just crawl forward. And if Hera just fixes his eco, which is something he's doing right now, gets 15 light cavs out, this is over. Modri is trying to clown around, but the only way Modri can somehow win this is that if he can trap this castle down, but that doesn't seem like it's going to happen. And Modri doesn't have the eco to tech switch into anything. The clown games. At least Modri is gonna be 5 relics, which is an advantage for him. And there is one thing we didn't talk about. These traps are useful until you are actually within the range of your own castle and they are defended from the monks. But if these traps move out, Modri's monks can actually take a fight, and Modri has some monks. I mean, he has monks, let's say. 30 to 29 monks, he's got an army of 30. It's like full monk army. You could actually say Monka S. So, the thing is that these traps can't really move out because Modri is just gonna win a conversion war and then convert them. Which buys some time for Modri, to be honest. And one thing we didn't talk about is that Hera has consumed a lot of gold and stone. Like, he actually had to buy an awful lot of stone right now to keep that castle alive. But, I mean, still, Modri hasn't been making wheels for an hour. And now Trap's trying to fire at monks. Casual thing. And another castle comes in here from Hera. This is, I think, the difference between the two players. That Hera has eco to tech switch, Modri doesn't. And as soon as Hera has like 15 light cav over here, it's over. Or he can just crawl forward with castles as well. Once again, beautiful Monk wars over here. Everyone converts everybody, and at the end of the day, no one wins. Actually, I feel like Modri might have won that fight. Yeah, Modri has won that fight by a massive margin, actually. And he's got a castle. He's gonna bring in a trap here. Modri isn't giving up. I'm not gonna lie, if Modri wins this game, that's gonna be the craziest arena game I've ever seen. He shouldn't win this. And Hera is getting light cap now. The problem for Hera is that he only has 16 on food. His eco is still a mess. He might need to buy some food here, trying to get some food eco going. But let's be honest, if he doesn't get a lot of light caps on the field in time, and this castle goes down, then many villagers could actually end up getting converted. And yeah, I think Hera's doing the right thing. Escort those traps inside the range of your own castle. Because what you want to achieve is making sure that those monks can just walk up to the traps and kill them. Anyways, that's a nice repositioning over there from Modri. Forces Hera to reposition his own stuff over here. But Hera's already mixing in light cav, and Modri sees that. So he knows exactly what is coming. No response to that just yet. It's not like he could afford anything. So that's a lot of monks. It's an army of monks, basically. Ultimate clownery. What you're seeing here is probably one of the craziest arena games of the recent memory, by the way, so it might go down as one of the craziest games I've ever casted. And here is Modri converting a barracks so he can actually, you know, get Spearman out against the light cav. Makes sense, right? These monks, I'm not sure what they're up to. They just run into their death here. And, well, one trap goes down, another trap goes down, and here comes the cavalry. This might be a GG here from either side. Honestly, Modri has 37 monks. And 37 monks, like, they have an insane healing speed as well. That's the thing. They will heal each other so fast that you can't kill them. You hit them, they lose 10 HP, but 15 monks healing them might actually be so fast. And yeah, I think that this is exactly what should have happened a long time ago. Like, Modri's push stalled out when he lost this trap war. He tried, didn't work out, and I guess he knows exactly that Hera's gonna be able to defend this position, and at some point 40 light cav will come out, and even if it's not going to be great fight for Hera, Hera's got a much stronger eco, double the score. Modri taps out, so this monk push isn't working well for him. Well, it did work in first game. Was it a single boyar? Yes. He's the one commanding the army of monks. You know, in Age of Empires 3, on the stats screen, you have a indicator which was the favorite unit for each player. So which was the unit a certain player made the most of. And that's not in AoE 2, but I would love to see a stat like that in here. Modri has lost 111 units and killed 16. He had 67 conversions. And I guess all the losses is because he deleted these. He deleted all of these, and that's why. But the building raised here, 12 to 3, matters quite a lot. Conversions, and the fact that Hera was able to defend against that one with double monasteries, but Hera was able to add eco. Modri didn't add eco at all. Like, ever since he reached Imperial, he didn't increase his voyager number by any number, basically. Hera didn't have a great eco for quite a lot of time in the game, because he had a lot of idols, but he was able to still, at least when that trap war was over, he was able to fix his eco, because he had the voyager number. It's just a matter of the fact that they were idle. Modri never had the voyager number for this. And the difference between this game and the first game is that in the first game, he actually beat Hera to Imperial by a massive margin. So Hera had no chance to stop a trap push. Here, he wasn't able to get to Imperial fast enough, or get that castle up fast enough, to trap down that castle guaranteed. If he was able to destroy Hera's castles, it would have been a completely different game. But it seems like Hera was able to keep those alive, and Modri wasn't able to get to Imperial in time, which means if we have a match point over here, Modri loses with Slavs as well. He's left with Ethiopians, Celts, Byzantines. Other side, we are left with Bulgarians, Tatars, Lithuanians for Hera. I'm not sure why he's using this username, but that's Hera. By the way, as I said, tomorrow, 16 GMT, I will be casting another Hera show match. This time, it's going to be hosted by OGN Empires, one of the biggest French streamers. And it's going to be Hera versus Mr. Yo best of 7 on various maps. Some of them are like super weird, so I'm not sure what to expect from those maps, but we'll see. But anyways, we are going to have the next game up very soon. They're setting up the lobby for that right now. So, well, here it is. And yeah, I think let's go back to the civs for a moment while they're actually getting ready. So Byzantines could be something to consider for Modri. I can see Celts working, but I'm not a big fan of that. The problem is that I think Hera is well prepared for Castle Age pushes. So, like a Celtic Mangonel Pike push isn't really gonna work. Ethiopian is interesting for Modri. I wonder what his plan is with it. Byzantines can be a fun civ, because one thing that Modri didn't try just yet is a fast imp. It's risky, I would say, but it looks like Modri isn't shying away from building or going for some risky strategies, like this very, very weak eco all-in monk push type of strategy. So maybe that's something that could be on his horizon. Other side, Lithuanians, oops, I didn't want to click that. Tatars, Bulgarians for Hera. Lithuanians will definitely be used at some point. It's just a matter of question when. And it's either Bulgarians or Tatars. I guess I'm a bigger fan of Bulgarians a bit compared to Tatars, but I can see both working. And I don't actually classify either of those as S tier arena civs. And, well, still, I think that Modri has the better draft. But Hera has been defending very well against the strategies of Modri, basically. Especially this defense against this monk push was actually... pretty decent. Right. So... let's see. Are we ready? Modri's ready. It's just a matter of we're waiting for Hera to get going. So, I can see Hera picking Lithuanians over here, and that being followed up by Modri picking maybe Byzantines. If Modri suspects Lithuanians from Hera, Byzantines can make a lot of sense to be able to match the opponent's trash units. That's actually something to consider. But anyways, Hera is ready as well. Hera is going to play Vietnamese, Lithuanians, and here is the game: Lithuanians versus Celts. Okay, not necessarily a fan of Celts, but I guess we'll see what Modri has on his mind. With Celts, we're going to have Hera on the southern part of the map in blue as Lithuanians. On the north, we'll have Modri as Celts in red. This map appears to have sheep and goats, so that's standard 800 food from herdables, but 4 Ibaks. So once again, plentiful food available, and I think the major difference now compared to previous generations is that here, Hera has a lot less space at the back than Modri does. Modri actually has this kind of back patch of emptiness that he can use, whereas for Hera, he's pretty much cornered in here, which is not nice. So, yeah, in fact, Hera's gonna have a very, very limited space to work with. We're gonna have Ibex front, double golds on the front, not so great. Stones at the back, but it isn't super perfect either. Other side, we have a back gold here for Modri, back stone. The primary gold isn't great, neither are the berries, but it's something that you can get away with. So with Celts, you can actually do free on wood just like Modri did with Slavs. The question is, what exactly are you going to do? You can actually try playing an eco-heavy approach and try to snowball the game with like Halberdier and Siege and Imperial, or maybe even World Raider and Siege. Or you can play aggressive Castle Age with like Pike and Siege. But if you play Pike and Siege, you have to make sure that you deny the gold from Hera. Like, Pike and Siege could work very, very nicely because it's not like Lithuanians open with archers or anything else that could actually stop that one. They have great monks, which helps quite a bit. But you have a good shot at being able to push the Lithuanian player before he gets up a castle. But once the castle goes up, it's a little bit trickier because it depends on the position of the castle. You aren't really gonna get anything useful against the Pike and Siege push from a Lithuanian castle. The latest will die to the pikemen anyways. But what you could actually think about here is that if Hera gets his castle up, let's say over here, for example, if he's getting pushed by Pike and Siege, he should have no trouble defending his gold. So the reason why I wouldn't be a big fan of the Pike and Siege push for Modri is because I feel like Hera has been pretty good at defending against these aggressive Castle Age pushes, and I'm fairly certain that once Hera scouts there is a early Castle Age push coming towards his base, he's just gonna send 10 wills to stone, get the stone, drop a castle, and then that push stalls out. Anyways, Modri once again is prioritizing pushing in the deer quite fast over here. You see that he hasn't actually taken a look at either of his boars. That's something that he did in the previous game. So he might be thinking about going for a very, very fast Castle Age over here. If you go for a build like that, it's very, very likely that you are doing this because you want to go for an early Castle Age push. Because you won't really have the eco to add additional TCs early on if you just go up like 21 plus 2. So it is kind of something that has to be a very aggressive play if you do 21 plus 2 like Modri did before. Drops a second lumber camp and he's also 4 on wood. So it might not be that aggressive now from Modri. Alright, so relic-wise, we have a fairly even distribution, I would say, maybe slightly favoring Hera. This should be a Hera-sided relic, this should be a Hera-sided relic. This is quite open, could be anyone's relic. This one is a little bit more Modri-like, and this one is also a little bit more Modri-like. I think this one is something that Hera has a better shot at getting because his gate is a little bit closer, which could help. We'll see. Technically, 2 relics should be guaranteed for both players in this setup. So, here come the farms from Modri. And Hera, once again, is not doing farms. As I said, I feel like with Ibex, you can delay them like Hera is doing, or maybe even completely skip them, depends. Hera decides to go for a safer approach, which I really like. He's just gonna do 2 farms. A little bit later than what I like to see, but it's not really a big deal, especially when you have 4 Ibex that Hera can still push in. Alright, so, that's not a house I like for Modri, but once again, I guess he's just about to get house, so he's dropping it there. Not a fan of that, and Hera's going for 22 villagers up. Huh. Sending 2 on gold right when he clicks up. This means that he wants to do +2 villagers on Fuel Age. So this is a 22 +2 from Hera. It's doable with the extra food you start with. It's completely doable, even though I feel like for that, these Ibexes are pushed in a little bit too late, because you want to be able to finish off your Ibex by the time you click up to Castle Age, because that's how you maximize your food income before clicking up. But it seems like it's a a pretty clean build so far from Hera. Very nice 22 plus 2 so far. Hey, Tony Banana. Welcome. Welcome as well. So, Modri, what is he up to? Modri is going for a relatively late fuel age, though. It's going to be 26 villagers. So, what is Hera's plan now? Is he going to be trying to go for an aggressive castle age here? Like Monk and Siege? Lithuanians can do that very, very nicely. And, well, that's going to be barracks for Hera, which means he's probably going stable blacksmith into castle age. And if it's stable blacksmith, it's probably just good old-fashioned scouts for relics, especially with Lithuanians. Every relic you pick up with Lithuanians is going to be helpful so much that Brax is a little bit late from Hera, so he might need to pull a third Voyager to rush up a stable. But he's going to have the resources, a little bit of gold on gold by the time the buildings go up. He's going to be fine, and honestly, this is not completely clean from Hera. There is a second building missing. He was low on wood. He was low on wood, and I feel like the difference maker is that this IBAC should have been a little bit earlier, because that gives him some extra food, so you can pull the villagers from food a little bit faster, and he can actually add them to wood. The other thing that would have been probably preferred is if he actually takes those villagers and adds them to the stragglers first instead of walking all the way through, because then you consume the straggler fast, and you can actually get that building up. It's not like it's a big deal for Hera, so he's gonna do 22 plus 3 villagers, but it might end up, yeah, it's 22 plus 4, so honestly, it doesn't matter at all. I'm not sure if he wanted to do 22 plus 2, but at the end of the day, he ends up with an uptime that's completely the same as a 24 plus 2. So, not really something that worked out well for Hera. I feel like probably he needs to pull the voyage a little bit faster from food and add these two stragglers instead of actually this wood line. Not really a big deal for Hera, but if he really wanted to do a very, very fast feudal, I feel like that could have been something that he does. Anyways, horse color and double bit axe coming in here for him. Adding farms, 10 villagers on wood over here, so probably going to be 1 monastery and 1 TC, so he's gonna start gathering relics. Soon he will start popping out scouts as well once he can afford it. And he's gonna go for relic collection. Let's see what he sees. He sees all 5 relics, so very, very nice scouting over here by Hera. And Modri is going to have to contest the relics, that's the thing. Like, Modri cannot allow Hera to just pick up the relics. Like, the ideal thing would be for Modri if he can pick up at least 3. This should be no trouble, this should be no trouble, and Modri is gonna have to win this one, because you don't want this one to fall into the hands of Hera. Who's gonna have the edge in this one? Apparently Modri does, so Hera's gonna run away here. And Hera just adds the first scout, a little bit late to my taste. Modri is out with 2 already. And that could be a nice little advantage for Modri. But Modri actually went for a late feudal, remember that. It looks like Modri is gonna keep the gate open. Hera doesn't have loom, so this is actually pretty dangerous for Hera. This is actually very dangerous for Hera. If that gate remains open, Modri is going to disengage for the time being, so Hera is fine. What I don't understand in Modri's build is that why he's going for 26 plus 2. That's a little bit late when you're trying to contest relics. Even if you're up against Lithuanians. Like, Hera could have gone even faster castle if he had a little bit cleaner build. But even against 24 plus 2, I feel like Modri's 26 plus 2 is not something I like that much. But hey, there is 2 scouts inside. This is actually tricky, because these 2 scouts can't kill monks on the outside, so I'm not 100% convinced this is bad for Hera, especially if he quick calls his wheels in. There is going to be a light cav upgrade from Modri, and Hera doesn't have loom. Hera still doesn't have loom, and he's not even making loom, so he needs to be extremely careful. That has to be like super, super cautious from him. And here's Modri trying to pick up the relics. Honestly, I feel like if he has a slightly faster castle age here, he could already be having 2 relics by now. Nice quick walls by Hera, and Modri might need to delete those light cavs, because the monk is going to try and get a conversion in. Modri trying to escape for now, just running around, trying to get a good scouting on Hera's base, and well, he will. The thing is that these scouts still need to be remaining inside as long as these light cav are around. 1 light cav gets converted, and Hera is not going to lose that monk. Yes, This is why I felt like it actually might be better for Hera if those guys are trapped out there, because they can't run away from monks, and it's not like there's any hope for Modri to save them. That being said, Modri is picking up relic number 1. He goes for the safe relics instead of the actual contested ones, but that's completely fine. I feel like Modri is doing a decent job investing into Lightcalf here. I think that's something that he has to do, and I like that he's denying this relic for the time being. Hera isn't really moving out just yet, which helps immensely for Modri. He can pick this relic up fast as well, but I feel like he needs to prioritize this. Looking at Modri's vision, Modri is missing out on this relic here on the far left side, which actually hurts because that's a completely uncontested relic. A single monk could walk out and pick it up without any problems. But it looks like we're gonna have 2 monks. For now, Hera isn't able to move out of his base because of the light cavalry numbers. And it's not like he is adding any spears or whatsoever, so this might be tricky for Hera over here. We will have second relic picked up by Modri, and honestly, Modri is doing a better job collecting the relics than Hera is. And yeah, Hera might take this one, but as things stand, Modri might end up having 3 or maybe even 4 relics over here, which is a dream against a Lithuanian player. So I feel like Hera needs some spears on the field. Of course, spears could get converted, but it's not like he's able to beat back the light cavalry over here. So, Sensity on the way for Hera to keep those monks alive a little longer, and now that's quite a lot of monks. And Hera, I think, is trying to block the light cav from actually hitting his monks. One light cav gets converted, but 1 monk is lost, 2 monks are lost, 3 monks. It might end up being 4 monks killed, so I'm not 100% convinced that this was a good fight for Hera. And Modri is on 3 relics already. Modri is doing an excellent job getting these relics. And he's missing out on this one, but he's going to send out the light cap to try and find it. He might even try to yoink this relic away now. And if he's able to pull that one off, that's a dream for him. But it's a little bit sloppy that he's missing out on this one, because this could be something that he picks up easily. So, 3 TCs behind this one for Modri. Hera is also doing 3 TCs. Voyager count is pretty much even, but the upgrades are slightly better for Hera. He's got Boso as well. And the thing is that there is the Spearman coming. And there are 2 monks coming in. Since Hera lost his monks, he can't convert the Spearman. That's a problem for Hera right now. That after losing the monks, he can't convert the Spearman. And let's see what Modri can do to stop that relic from being taken away. There is 1 hit. It's gone. The monk from Modri is gone as well. I think Hera should have no trouble picking this one up. And Modri? No, this is not something that, like, Modri doesn't think that he has, or his opponent has picked it up. Modri knows exactly there are dark spaces here. And I don't consider it unlucky because there are dark spaces left in here. If you compare it to Hera's scouting, it's much cleaner. By the way, Hera saw it on the minimap that the relic disappeared. You can actually see the relic disappearing through the map. And when you see that, that means that your opponent has picked it up. I'm going to show that. So, Hera saw that the relic disappeared, which means that Modri picked it up right at that moment. He sends a light cav over there, and he's gonna be able to kill that monk. So, Modri is getting a siege row chop up. His food eco is a little weaker than Hera's eco. And the tricky thing is that Halberdier and Siege might be something that Hera will still struggle against. Like, he can go for crazy Cavalier, but it's not gonna be that super crazy against the Celtic Hobbs. So, I'm going to show this from Modri's POV. This is what I was referencing to. Here's the relic. When Hera picks this up, it's going to suddenly disappear. See? It disappeared. This is when Hera picked it up. This is actually a very, very good indication. And that's why that's what you're looking for. Now, there is quite a lot of spearmen over here from Modri, and there isn't really a huge amount of monks that can get conversions in. So, this is the point where you commit with your spears, try to kill the opponent's cavalry. You go for the monk as well, try to snap the monk. But I think Hera, this is gonna be a fight that Modri might win, but Hera's gonna be on 2 relics. I still believe that this is okay for Modri. 2 relics is kind of the threshold against Lithuanians, but it could have been 3 or 4, I believe, for Modri. Anyways, Hera's gonna have a slightly better uptime than Modri. Modri was just a little bit low on food. And Modri has 20 on gold, I wonder why. Because I feel like the ideal composition, which would be Hob and Siege, is not something that he needs an awful lot of gold vouchers for. We'll have a pause. Hera is at 70 views, Modri at 78. Upgrades are very, very similar for the two players. And Hera is getting heavy blow in just now. All right. So what is Modri up to? He's got 4 on stone. Actually, what am I talking about? It's 8 on stone. If it's 8 on stone, that's probably gonna be a castle very, very soon. And that castle would make sense for multiple reasons. Like, you probably want to get Furor Celtico in the long run. You might want to mix in some Void Raiders. But at the end of the day, the way you prepare against the Lithuanian player going for Cavalier is that you go for Hobbliers of your own. And that's not something I see from Modri right now. So, it is Modri calling the pause right now. I guess he's going to be back in a matter of moments. So, 3-2 is the relic count. I think that's a small win for Modri. He's got a slight eco lead. Hera had quite a lot of T-saddle time, so I guess the microing was something that delayed him a little bit. But he's going to have a slightly faster Imperial Age time. I don't think it's going to matter that much, though. In the middle, Hera's army is going to get cleaned up, and that actually matters a little bit. Because if Hera isn't committing more to the middle, which is something that he shouldn't really do, to be honest, now that he has the relics, Modri's gonna have some light cav alive, and that will allow him to do some scouting and see what Hera is up to, or at least when Hera moves out of his base. So there will be some extra information available to Modri if, you know, Hera is giving up on the middle. Okay. So still no sign of Modri coming back into this one. At some point... Okay, I just had to mention that. So, as I said, this one Spearman is the only thing that prevents Modri from being able to control the middle completely. He could easily kill that with 3 light calves. It's not even a big deal. It takes 2 hits from a light calf to kill that Spearman. Anyways, Handcart is coming in alongside Loom, and there are the barracks from Modri. Indeed, it's going to be Pikeman, or well, Halberdier, and then probably Siege Rams, and this is why Hera's gonna go for ranges. But here is the problem. Hera's gonna go range, which could be Elite Skirm, which is very nice with Lithuanians, but they don't kill Rams. Or Hera could go Cav Archer, which could be an intriguing option, but Cav Archers don't kill Rams either, so Hera needs something that deals with Rams. Hand Cannoneer? Do Lithuanians have Hand Cannoneer? I always forget. If they have Hand Cannoneers, it's obviously Hand Cannoneers. I always forget if Lithuanians have it or not. Oh, they do? Okay. Well, in that case, Hand Cannoneers are perfectly fine. Now, Hand Cannoneers won't kill Rams either, but Hand Cannoneers will be just a lot better at dealing with Pikemen than the crossbows would be or the skirms would be. By the way, Modri actually revealed that he's going Pikeman. That's a huge mistake from him. His Pikemen were chasing a scout, and because of that, he was close to Hera's Vows. Hera actually tried converting those. He had to delete 2 Pikemen, but what's more important is that he has confirmed Hera that he's going Pikeman. And indeed, that's going to be Hand Cannoneer play from him, because he's going for fast chemistry over here. The beautiful thing about going for Hand Cannoneer is that you don't need to get the Fletching, Bodkin, Bracer upgrades that you would normally need to get for skirms or crossbows. So once you get chemistry, you can actually start making Hand Cannoneers instantly. But the problem is that Hobs and Onagers will also deal with the Hand Cannons. So this is still a little bit tricky for Hera. And the other problem is that Modri is already making a lot of spears, and he's already getting Rams out with Kept Ram upgrade. Whereas for Hera, he's just about to start making Hand Cannoneers. His Hand Cannoneers will be nice, but this number, 17 army to 1, is actually something that's going to be pretty scary, and Hera is not attacking into Bloodlines, so I wonder that if... It's probably going to be... I'm not sure if it's Cavalier hand cannon. I'm not sure if Hera can afford that. Yeah, latest hand cannon makes some sense, because he can start making latest immediately. I could see light cav in the long run being in the mix, and if he gets to good latest and hand cannon numbers, Modri has no chance. But this is still tricky because walls will be broken through. There is actually some light cavs in the party as well. And the Treb, it's going for the monastery. Look at that. That's smart. It's smart for Modri. He's going for the monastery. He does not see the castle, I believe. But he will actually remove the relics from that monastery before engaging. And once again, yes, the unit composition of Hera is capable of beating Modri's unit comp. However, the numbers are much, much better for Modri here. And there is a bombard cannon, but bombard cannons aren't that amazing against rams, that's the thing. And yes, hand cannons are nice, but you need to keep your archer ranges alive for that, and I don't think that's gonna happen. Latest pop out, that's actually a miss micro from Modri over there. He doesn't want to lose those rams. Siege ram isn't in either, but quite a lot of ranges are going down, which is going to delay your progress towards more hand cannoneers. Like Siege Workshop is down, there is more and more ranges down. Hera is doing a nice job trying to snap those Trebs, but Modri is doing a nice job keeping them alive, and here's the problem. Now Hera has nothing against the hobs. He's got like 15 hand cannoneers, but that's not an awful lot. And the monastery is down, the castle is being trapped down. Hera's in trouble. Hera is definitely in trouble over here. These hand cannoneers will still have an insanely good resource retention, and look at that, Hera just deletes all the walls. He wants an open fight, use the mobility of the latest. Also moving to the right hand side, getting a castle up over there. That's still quite a lot of hand cannoneers though. That's like an awful lot of hand cannoneers. Nice snipe from Hera, takes down 2 of those trebuchets. And the thing is that if Hera can get to more hand cannons, Modri's gonna be in trouble. He needs onagers to this. Hob, onager, and ram could actually save the day for Modri here. He is behind by 16 wheels though. And here's the problem for Modri. What is he gonna do against these hand cannons? He doesn't have much. He's stacking it onager right now, but that's going to take forever. And I feel like now that he doesn't have the ram push, now Hera could add cav archers. That's completely legitimate here, because the cav archers would still be able to deal with the halberdiers, and they would also be able to be pretty efficient against the onagers if you micro them well. I think Modri is dead, because as much as he can snowball a game with Hob and Siege, like he was trying to do, Hera can snowball a game with gunpowder here, like bombard cannon, hand cannon, cavalry from the Celts isn't great, and I think that onager even got cancelled because it might have been upgraded on this building, so I'm not even sure if onager is coming in here for Modri. And it looks like Hera is gonna have a swift free and 1 victory. Predicted free 2. And we had some close games, I would say, but this is not something that I see Modri turning back here. Like, he's nowhere close to actually being able to field an army that's capable of beating hand cannon, bombard cannon. This is like AoE free army composition. Muskets and bombard cannons. And now the military numbers are even, so I feel like the only way Modri could have won this game is if he's successful at overrunning Hera before Hera can get to good hand cannon numbers. Because if you have like 10 hand cannons against 50 hobs, that doesn't matter. And he actually has onager in, and now he's gonna get siege onager. But even siege onager against bombard cannons, that's still tricky. And he doesn't have Furor Celtica, which also hurts a little bit. Hera's got a lot better map control, and I would love to see Hera making petards. Hera make 2 petards, you blast through the walls, send in some lattice, and you can cause so much chaos in the eco of the opponent. Obviously, it looks like Modri is waiting for onager or siege onager to kick in. That's a long, long upgrade, and those siege workshops are going down so fast. Like, the problem here is that by the time you get siege onager, you are going to face a lot of hand cannons and lattice. Onager shot, that was actually a beautiful onager shot by some time, but that's the siege onager. Nope, siege onager is retasked to somewhere else. That upgrade is now being researched elsewhere, but Modri constantly has to cancel it because the siege workshops are just going down so fast. They're just going down so fast, and now there's a lot of lattice, and Hera is playing this one smart. He's keeping the hand cannon away from the buildings and using the lattice to destroy them, just to make sure that the onagers, even if they pop out, they won't be able to get a shot on the hand cannon. And Modri is so dead here. Like, he's omega dead. He doesn't have a single unit that can deal with this. He doesn't have a single unit that can deal with hand cannoneers, and he will never have, because even if Siege Onager comes in, he's up against bombard cannons now. Hera, by the way, could actually pick his relics. Did he pick up his relics? Yeah, he did. Okay, so he's got the +2 on Elitis. Hera is still missing a lot of attack upgrades on Elitis, so this is only from the relics, no attack upgrades in. Some Halberdiers are coming in to raid, but I feel like this is more like desperation from Modri here, because I don't see this one happening. Hera is grabbing map control. This trap is just going to be history in 5 seconds, because one Elitis can destroy it, no one is protecting it. And I mean, sure, few villagers will get poked down, but is that actually something that's going to hurt Hera? Probably not. With all these bombard cannons and hand cannoneers flooding out. And yeah, considering that there is no onagers on the field, bombard cannon, hand cannon, and Elitis is more than satisfactory for Hera. This trap is still trapping this castle down. I feel like Hera is just probably paying attention elsewhere, and that's why he's not taking that down. But he could definitely take it down. He's probably focusing on repairing this bombard cannon, and he's doing so very well. And now he notices that trap pulls the villagers to repair. Only a few Halberdiers defending this, so once again, this is no trouble for Hera to deal with. And here come the Siege Onagers. Now, Hera's gonna have to focus on this, because one good Siege Onager shot could actually kill all those bombard cannons. But apparently Hera does focus on them, and Hera's got a pretty much comparable eco, but he's trading a lot more efficiently. And that's something that we also have to keep in mind. Hera also has, I think, all the neutral gold mines on the map. He's already mining the right-hand side, so that's something to pay attention for as well. Bombard cannons trying to get the hits on the Siege Onagers. This is a fight, or this is a game that Hera is not supposed to lose, and the only way that he's going to lose it is if the Onagers get some crazy good hits. Because Hera's gonna have the ultimate unit comp, like Elitis and hand cannon, and bombard cannon is like perfect right now. And as I said, I don't think that Modri can trade well enough here. I jinxed Hera so hard. I'm sorry, Hera. I'm so sorry, Hera. Like, that was the ultimate jinx. And let's be honest. If you don't have those bombard cannons out here to kill the Siege Onagers, by the way, these guys don't have Furor Celtica, something that is missing very, very badly right now for Modri, but can Modri actually do this? Hera has a lot of Elitis on the left side, but those will die to Halberdiers, and the key is hand cannon numbers, and I count 7 hand cannoneers on the field. Not enough. Not enough over here. This castle is still standing, and the problem for Modri is that he doesn't have any anti-building siege. Bombard cannons trying to get some hits on, but if there is no hand cannons to support, the bombard cannons will be rushed down by Halberdiers. Hera trying to out-micro... Oh, boy! Did I mention that the only way Modri wins this game is if he gets some good hits with the Onagers? I bet you he is doing it. He's doing it, boys. Now, that's actually a huge miss micro from Modri over there, and he's going to lose like 3 or 4 Onagers because of that. Massive miss micro. But he takes down the bombard cannon, and he's taking down quite a lot of the hand cannon as well. Hera trying to do his best to dance away from that. But there is Siege Ram, or I'll just Cap Ram right now, pushing the castle. Modri takes over in terms of military count, but all the Onagers are gone. All the Onagers are gone. I think Modri has done an excellent job at making this game even now. And I think that Hera forgot about this army. I have a feeling Hera forgot about this army. Because this was patrolling here so much, and he could have sandwiched that army over there. And now Hera is getting quite a lot of stables out, so he knows that he's gonna need cavalry numbers very soon. Hand cannoneers are slowly popping out as well, but most of those ranges are over here, so you wonder if Modri can actually take this down and delay Hera from going into more hand cannons. And the hand cannon numbers are the critical to this game. Like, if you have enough hand cannons, like what you see over here for Hera, he's gonna clean up the hubs. That's the thing over here. I love that Modri is re-walling his base, by the way, to prevent cavalry from rushing into his base. Once again, Modri is not, Modri doesn't have something that can deal with the hand cannons. He's got a ram, beating up a farm. So Hera now going for light cav. We're gonna have another castle here, and I guess now the plan for Modri is to push the right side of Hera's base. This is the neutral golden stone that was untouched. The other one is in the hands of Hera, so Modri is going to have to be able to take that. And as I said, I feel like Hera might have been tempted to try and push Modri's eco, but that's why Modri is stonewalling this one off here as well. This is very tricky. Once again, those onagers are left alone so badly. But you also have to consider that this isn't enough villagers for Hera to repair that castle with. Onager is getting some nice ground attacks in. Still no Flora Celtica for Modri, and that's a very expensive loss of Latis over there for Hera. So I'm not 100% sure if this was worth it for Hera, and it's 47 to 34 military, a lot of hand cannons. But honestly, this might be the moment where you can consider Modri adding his cavalry as well. He's got the eco to do so. And if he adds his own cavalry, the hand cannons will die, and it's not like Hera doesn't have anything that can deal with cavalry easily right now. So making some hussars, even though those are kind of garbage Celtic hussars, it might actually be reasonable for Modri. Because I'm not sure how long he can actually get good onager shots. And if he starts losing those siege onagers, he could be in trouble. Nice fight over there from Hera, but bombard cannons also go down. So at the end of the day, that's sorta even. And bombard cannons will actually get grinded down here once again. And the ranges are going down. Hera has very few archer ranges. And that's going to hurt. Because he's not going to be able to replenish the hand cannoneers. Hera's going to need a lot more ranges here. There isn't just not enough onagers, I believe, on the field for Modri. I think that if he actually switched into cavalry here, he would win the game. Because Hera can't kill the cavalry easily. His own cavalry will just trade against that. It's going to be good trades, but not good enough to just stop them from killing the precious hand cannoneers. And as the game is going on, and the map is running low on gold, you are going to see the importance of those hand cannoneers escalating over here. Redemption, block printing, and sensitivity from Hera. So obviously now he's switching from bombard cannons into monks to try and stop the onagers. This is actually a good trade for Hera. If Modri wants to close this game out, he needs to win this game fast. Because in the long run, I prefer the Lithuanian trash over him. He's got more relics, remember that. He's got 3 relics as opposed to 2. But the thing is that you have to be able to close this game out if you're Modri here. You should have the upper hand. Like, Hera doesn't have a lot of sniping potential on those onagers. Just a few bombard cannons. And I still believe that Modri should put more emphasis on getting his own light cavalry out here. He could start raiding, but if he just had like 20 light cav, he would smash those hand cannoneers. And this is a dangerous game here for Modri. Like, that's a lot of honor. Just one misclick and his entire army is gone. So, you want to be able to win this game right now if you're Modri. And he's going for the castle. Remember, that's all the hand cannoneers that are on the field. One onager gets converted. That's not something that Modri expected, I believe. But now he's going to account for that as well. Quite a lot of onagers are down and they're once again exposed. I don't think that onagers will be enough here to deal with all those hand cannoneers. I don't think Hera is microing them well enough to be able to keep them away from harm. But that being said, Hera's eco is getting absolutely torn apart now. Like, he's suffering significant casualties over here, losing villagers on the left, losing villagers on the right. That's once again very dangerous onager shots over there. And that's why this onager thing is not something I'm supporting anymore for Modri. It's too slow apparently, and it isn't actually dealing with the hand cannons. But doesn't matter, Hera taps out, and I might have spoken too soon. It seemed like Hera's gonna win this, but 2 big onager hits. Like, don't get me wrong, if those onager hits don't connect, Hera would have been at like 25 hand cannon for the whole game. But he just lost all his latest and all his hand cannons to like onager hits. You remember those. I think it's going to be shown on the stat screen. Did I miss a huge onager shot in the end? I might have had. Unsure where. All hand cannons died seconds ago. Sorry, Biffy Monastery and Barracks. Here? Ah. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense why he calls the GG then. Sorry for missing that, but, well, we have seen quite a lot of big onager shots. So, yeah, I was looking at this post-game thing and I was like, where are the hand cannons? But I guess they were clumped up over here and there was a big onager shot. Well, yeah, basically, the onager play is like a big risk, big reward play. If you misclick, you lose your entire army. But if you click well and your opponent misclicks, you are going to win the game. And, yeah, if we look at the stats, these swings, that over there, look at that. That's like minus 20 army for Hera over there. That's all his hand cannons gone. That's, I think, many of his late is gone. That's basically how it ended up. And honestly, I'm happy because we'll have more games. So that's a nice thing. Hera maybe not so happy that he lost to... I think Hera pretty much lost the game that he and probably many other people as well believed that it was already won by him. He had a decisive military lead, great unit composition. It's just a matter of one or two good onager hits can decide games, and that's exactly what happened. And that's the thing that you get with hand cannons. Hand cannons are so fragile that onagers, they might not work at all if your opponent is microing well, but if your opponent looks away for just a second and a good onager hit connects, it's over. And one of the reasons why Celts are so strong on Arena is because this Hobbity on onager push can be pretty devastating. It really depends on the circumstances. So it is possible that your opponent is going to keep his army away and he's just going to take down your onagers with bombard cannons and you can't do anything with it. But it's really like, if your opponent just makes one mistake, he might lose his entire army, and that's why we saw the game unfold like it actually happened. Modri is going to be left with Ethiopians and Byzantines. Hera is left with Tatars and Bulgarians for game number 5. Once again, this show match is hosted by Roxy. And tomorrow I will be casting a Hera versus Yo best of 7 show match between... yeah, I just said it's between Hera and Yo. That is sponsored by OG and Empires. And in a weekend, I will be casting Red Bull Vololo the whole weekend. So I'm not going to play from the first round to the final round of Red Bull Vololo. I will be casting the qualifiers. There is going to be a lot, so I expect 10 hours of streaming each day. It's probably going to kill my voice, but it is what it is, right? So, Hera seems to be away for a short amount of time, and that's gonna mean that we'll have to wait a little bit for the final game over here in between Hera and Modri. Winner gets, I think, $400, loser gets $100, so it's a 4-to-1 split. $500 is the total prize pool of this, I believe. What time does Volo start in Red Bull? Probably 13 GMT, but I'm not 100% sure. Because the thing is that it originally was meant to start at 13 GMT, but it was only for a bracket of 256. And I wonder if for like if they implement the 512 player bracket, it might actually start a little bit earlier. Let me look it up. Information and updates. Qualifier 2. It starts 13 GMT. 13 GMT is the round of 512. Then 1345 is 256. 128 is the at 1430. No, it's not Friday, it's Saturday and Sunday. And then, obviously, we'll cast round of 64, round of 32, and round of 16 whenever it happens, because there might be overlaps, of course. Sunday, once again, we'll have the same layout as we had before. So we'll have 4 quarterfinals matches, they will not be overlapping. So it starts 13 GMT as well there. Now, one thing that I also want to point out is that probably I will start my stream on the weekend a little bit earlier than 13 GMT. That is because the brackets will be released sometime between 12 and 13 GMT. So there is a chance that some players might start playing early on, a little bit earlier. Obviously, first round is not really going to matter that much because it's probably going to be some low-level players being filtered out against the pros. But maybe we'll find some interesting games, so we'll see how that goes over there. But it's going to be fun. There will be a lot of high-level players. Actually, we can take a look at the participants. Is there like... There's ACCM... There is Bacti, Barls. You have Chart is playing, CL is playing, Classic Pro. Who else? Who has Fire is in, Kaswa is in. Then you have players like Freaking Andy and Freaking Chris, two very, very good deathmatch players in. Gunji missed last time and he's going to play now. Goku is also in the party. Then you have Hellis in as well. Heart. Chris is going to play once again. I'm just waiting, like, they haven't started the game just yet, so I'm just looking at this. Jordan, John Slow is going to be there. Kamigawa. And we haven't even got to the big names. There is going to be Komtan also involved. And I might even be missing some names, but here are the big names, like Lix, for example. One of the better candidates to qualify, but it's going to be pretty hard for him. Miguel is in. Mingo Daily is also going to play. He's having no chance to qualify, but he's one of the better speedrunners of Age of Empires 2, so that's always fun. Nili is going to try because he was unable to play last weekend. Noisik, very good Chilean player in there. Praise is going to play. He played for Netherlands in 2v2 World Cup. Ray, decent American player out there as well. Did MBL sign up and I just missed him, or he didn't actually sign up? Oh, there is MBL. Yes, MBL will play. There were some news that he won't, but he actually scheduled his travel elsewhere, so he will play in the main event if he actually qualifies. But of course, he will actually try qualifying. Now, Say My Name is going to play. You will have Sito trying to qualify. He also missed last time. Survivalist is one of the higher level players out there. Dragon Star as well. Tim from the Chinese team. Yeah, I'm actually going in alphabetical order because that's how it's actually listed in tournament. So Vodka L, Bad Boy is going to play. Vivi is going to play. Vizapi and Zupi. That's basically it. But that's quite a lot of high-level players, so that's gonna be pretty tricky for qualifying. I think that round of 16 is already going to be stacked with a lot of high-level players. Alright, so we do have the next game up over here. If Age of Empires cooperates, I will actually be able to show it to you. Modri. Well, the game is not listing the lobby, and that is somewhat frustrating. Let's hope that the game starts to cooperate. It's not like we're actually going to miss anything. It's Arena, right? So don't worry, we'll not miss anything here. It's just, you know, a little bit annoying that I can't find the game. I think that's actually something that they really should focus on fixing. This has been an issue for who knows how long, and that actually makes casters freak out so much. Did you try with Game ID? I didn't try with Game ID because AoE2.net is like super slow. Let's see the Game ID. 611 16677. Are we sure that's the right ID? I might need to restart my game then. This is seriously one of the most annoying parts of being caster, when you can't find this game because the is bugged. Alright, I will just restart my game. I think we'll actually end up being faster than just trying to look around. I didn't add the score here to Modri, by the way. But Modri now has 2 game wins as well. So... game number 5. And we are going to have a Bulgarians versus Byzantines matchup. Interesting. That's actually a pretty interesting matchup. So what do Bulgarians do against Byzantines? Byzantines, I actually like the versatility of their tech tree a little bit more. How are Byzantines skirm? Or how are Bulgarian skirms? Because that might be something to consider. Byzantines might go Arbalest Bombard Cannon, and Bulgarians need something against that. Bulgarian lead skirms do have Tumbering, missing Ring Archer armor. So not ideal, but it actually works out to a certain extent. You can hold against an Arbalest Bombard Cannon push for some time with Bulgarians. It's very unlikely it's going to be a Halberdier based push from Modri, whatever happens. Because, like, Bulgarians get the free upgrade, like, free long swordsman and 200 swordsman upgrade and whatnot. So it's a very, very easy tech switch for Bulgarians to get into swordsman to deal with that. So I would actually place my bet on an Arbalest and Bombard Cannon push from Modri. Let's hope that I can find the game now. Modri. What's up with this? Okay, never mind. D was just trying to frustrate me. Sorry for that. But the good news about this is that guess what? It's Arena, so all we need to do to catch up is fast forward. We're gonna have Hera on the left side as Bulgarians in blue, right side is Modri as Byzantines in red, and in just a matter of moments we'll probably catch up, and then we'll be able to see the games live. That's the beautiful thing about Arena. Like, even if you fall behind because he fails to find the game for you, you can just speed forward because nothing is actually going to happen in the first couple of minutes, at least ordinarily. Anyways, Hera is 4 on wood, no surprise about that. Other side, Modri 4 on wood as well, so no unique / weird strategies for these players. Both players can have the similar amount of space at the back. Hera's got double gold mines at the back, that's beautiful, and a stone at the back as well. This is by far the best map that Hera has had in this series so far. Beautiful stones, golds, space at the back, everything that he wants, and he's dropping a stable with 24, so it's probably going to be scouts to contest the relics first from him. Other side, we are gonna have a Barracks as well from Modri. That's a little bit late. I think this Barracks is gonna be a few seconds too late, but it's not really a big deal. And Modri is gonna play scouts with Blacksmith as well, but he's going up at 26 vills. This is the same thing that he did in the Celts game. Clicked up a little bit later, but this gives him a little bit more eco, which is I think much needed when you're playing with Byzantines that don't really have any major eco bonus here. In fact, None of these two civs have an amazing economy. Hera is going to be using one wood line, whereas we'll have two wood lines for Modri, so I feel like early efficiency advantage will be on the side of Modri over here. Hera had quite a lot of village idle time. 2 minutes 25 seconds is an awful lot of village idle time. Not sure what happened over there for him. And he's on the way to Castle Age, but that's a lot of village idle time compared to Modri. Anyways, there is the stable from Modri, followed by a blacksmith as well. And he squeezes in double bit axe over here, so this is why I don't understand the 26 villagers up, because I feel like you don't need 26 here. He was able to afford double bit axe and horse collar before clicking up. Might as well go for 25 plus 2 or 24 plus 2 here. Doesn't really matter though, because at the end of the day, we're gonna have a scout fight that is won by Hera. Yes, that's Hera's scout that ends up winning that. And that's actually huge, because you can then just send this scout back home and heal it up. So whoever wins that early scout fight is someone that's gonna have a nice advantage, because he can heal that up later on with a monk. And Hera's gonna have better castle age time as well, so he's gonna be able to get the monks out. 2 villagers only on gold, so it's probably just 1 monastery monks over here for relics. And a little bit low on wood is Hera, but remember that Hera doesn't need a huge amount of stone here. In fact, he can just drop stones or TCs for a little cheaper in terms of stone, which would allow him to boom on 4 TCs without any major problems. In fact, the other thing that he could have done is potentially sell stone to go up, but he decided to go with the stable blacksmith approach, which is probably a little bit safer and helps a little bit more at gathering relics. It looks like the grand idea for Modri here with Byzantines is that he's going to spam spearmen everywhere. These super cheap spearmen are just trying to prevent the movement of Hera. Drop some monastery immediately, and same thing is going to happen as well for Modri. Hera can actually follow this up with a TC very soon, probably over here would be one that makes sense. He would definitely need to drop that TC on a wood line, because this wood line is getting a little bit more inefficient as he gets away from the lumber camp and doesn't have a second wood line. So it makes a lot of sense to drop the TC on a wood line over here. But for now, Hera is just going for scouts. We'll have a scout war over here for now. The other scout, yeah, the weak scout is still in here, and I love this from Hera. He's actually going to heal it up, and that's super smart from him. Whereas for Modri, he is getting the first monastery up just now. But I feel like Hera's gonna have an edge getting these relics in, because I feel Hera is a little bit more confident with his scout micro right now. The relics are favoring Modri a tiny bit. He's close to 3 relics, whereas Hera is only close to 2. And we are gonna have Hera playing with a light cav even. Remember, that's actually going to benefit him in the long run, because Bulgarians really love to play with light cav anyways. So it makes quite a lot of sense to just go for the light cav upgrade early on over here. No boso from either side, and both players are playing on 1 TCs, but Modri is adding TC number 2 and 3 already. So this is getting interesting. Hera is not adding any additional TCs. He's gonna have an advantage grabbing the relics, but I wonder if he's going to fall behind eco-wise, because one thing that we're going to have to add is that Hera is still 1 TC. He's eventually going to add second TC somewhere around over here, for example, and the third one probably over here. But he's not doing that right now. And his opponent, Modri, is already on 3 TCs, even though Modri doesn't have the food eco to make all 3 of them work at the same time. I think Modri is still going to have a good chance of grabbing like 2 relics. And if he can actually do that, that's going to be 1 monk dead. If he can stay on like 2 relics, maybe even 3, because 3 of them are actually close to him. 2 or 3 relics, and this is the eco advantage for him. I think that's a nice advantage for Modri. Especially considering he can click into Imperial a little cheaper as well, and that's going to be very helpful. That's actually a very nice conversion for Modri here. He gets the conversion on the strong light cav, which allows him to just kill the weak light cav. And now Modri can pick this relic up easily, pick it up easily here, pick it up easily as well. And Modri, once again, I feel like is having a little bit of an advantage over here. Hera yoinking the first relic for himself, but he's just dropping TC number 2 here. And Modri is on 3 TCs, even though the TC idle time is quite considerable for him. It's only 18 on food, so he's barely able to keep all 3 of these TCs working right now. But That's still 3 TCs against just 1 right now and soon to be 2. That's going to be 7 villagers already. No wheelbarrow for either side. So, here, I think if Modri grabs 3 relics here, he's gonna be a happy person. And it seems like Hera's gonna be satisfied with 2. Here's the second one coming in. And there is TC number 3. But look at that. That's already 9 villagers, 10 villagers lead for Modri, which is something that is a huge advantage at this stage, especially if you consider that Modri can click into Imperial a little bit earlier, and he could get that Imperial Age power spike from Arbalasts and potentially traps. He's sending quite a lot of villagers to stone here, which makes me believe that he might want to age up using a castle instead of using a second castle age building like a siege workshop or university. Even though if he actually goes Arbs, he's gonna do university anyway, so might as well go for that. But he is actually dropping quite a lot of villagers on stone, which means that he wants to drop a castle relatively soon in the future. Nice 11 villagers lead for him. Gets a market up as well. Let's see if Hera's gonna add the 4th DC here. He could theoretically try doing that because his food income is more or less okay. He needs to add a few more villagers, but he could do 4 TCs and he still has 100 stone to work with because he's Bulgarians. So, Modri is gonna be on 3 relics, Hera is on 2. And, what now? Modri right now is just booming, Hera's gonna go for an early forging upgrade. What's the point of that forging? Like, Hera should understand that the middle control isn't really something that's going to be, doing him any favor anytime soon. He's adding a second stable as well, and making some knights. He's making a lot of knights, actually. Is he planning a castle age push here? Like, I'm not 100% sure what Hera is up to, but his efforts here are clearly... Like, they clearly seem like he's actually going to try and push here with knights and light cav. But how is he gonna get through the walls? That's what I don't understand. And just fighting in the middle, it's like no one cares. Sure, he's gonna win this fight, but does that matter? Does he gain anything by winning the fight in the middle? Of course he's gonna get vision, and he's gonna have information, but I'm not sure if investing into free stables, knight production, is going to be something that is justified by this investment. That being said, it's a good thing that Hera is already massing army, because he's not gonna get surprised by an aggressive push from Modri, but Modri is just going for a heavy boom here. 10 on stone, soon a castle being dropped by Modri, and if Hera is just going for cavalry, Modri is just gonna spam halberdiers. That's the thing, that Modri can just flood the map with cheap Byzantine halberdiers, and looking at those resources, Modri is about to click into Imperial. So, Siege Workshop, indeed, that Siege Workshop is there because Modri wants to click Imp. And he's gonna have a 14 villagers lead. Both players do have wheelbarrow. I'm not sure where Hera's eco went wrong. I'm just not sure what he's trying to do. Like, Hera is still without Boso, but he's making knights, and I'm not sure why Hera is making knights here. Like, if he was actually able to get through these walls somehow, even with a petard, that would be fine. Because the knights would actually do a lot of damage to Modri. But these knights kind of feel useless right now, and instead of actually adding to eco, Hera's adding to army. Maybe he thinks that Modri wants to push him with pike, but even then I don't understand. Like, Modri is gonna go for halberdier and siege ram over here once again, or halberdier traps. He's gonna have a much better aim time. He's got a 12 villagers lead, better eco upgrades by far. I am not sure what Hera is up to, but I don't think it's actually great. Like, he's gonna have a bunch of cavalry that will be completely useless. He will catch up in economy once that 4 TCs goes up. That's not really the concern. The concern is, how is he going to handle something that seems like it's going to be a hob and siege push. Over here, Squire's chainmail is on the way. There isn't really a huge amount of barracks for Modri though. Like, he's just getting additional barracks up. I feel like he could actually prioritize getting these up a little bit faster, pull some more vills, because the early numbers matter very much when you're talking about the Hob and Siege push. Like, they matter immensely. Hera getting cavalry upgrades over here for himself and getting some more cavalry on the field, but cheap Byzantine pikemen soon-to-be Halberdiers, they will have a +2 defense. You don't want to move out right now if you're Modri, because that will be quite a lot of pikemen killed. And I think Modri is going to see that big blob of knights right now. Hera still not up to Imperial, which means that he's gonna have like absolute nothing that can stop Halberdiers. His knights won't trade very well against those either. And in fact, Modri is even floating way too many resources. I think it's going to be something like Halberdier Trebs now. Because if Modri wanted to go Halberdier Ram, he would be making Rams by now, but that's not something that he's doing. So, Imperial Age is in, and that is going to be in a probably immediate Halberdier upgrade. Hera trying to do some damage over here. This wouldn't be a great fight for Modri. This is a bad fight for Modri. Just before Halberdier upgrade, I feel like he should have jumped into the castle. What can Hera do to prevent that? Nothing. Modri is throwing away his pikemen here. That's a crucial decision-making mistake. As much as it was a bad decision from Hera to make all these knights without actually focusing on his eco, this is an awful play by Modri. He should have jumped into the castle. If he jumps inside and waits until the Halberdier upgrade comes in, he can easily win that fight. Now, his push is delayed quite heavily. Hera is catching up in villager count. Modri is suffering very badly from production. That's the other problem I'm looking at here. Very, very bad production. Like 6 Halberdiers queued up on all of those buildings. That's just not the way to go. And we haven't even talked about the fact that, nice, it's beautiful. You are going to make halves, but where is the siege? I feel like Modri is misplaying this one pretty badly. He's supposed to be capitalizing on the early imp of Byzantines and should already have siege by now. Like Halberdier and siege rams or Halberdier and traps. There is indeed a Carapace drop on the left south, and Hera is going to steal that gold mine. This is going to achieve absolutely nothing for him because the Carapace cannot make traps, and Modri is going to make a trap inside, and that Carapace is gone. Hera is going to be able to steal some gold. It frustrates me, however, how slow Modri is playing this one. Obviously, he can afford to play this one slow because he's got an insanely good late-game trash unit composition. But I feel like if you go for the cheaper Imperial of Byzantines, might as well go and push, right? And there is going to be longswords. I have a feeling that Modri might be trying to force Hera to switch into longswords here. Because Hera is obviously going to switch into longswords, and remember that when Hera reaches Imperial, which is still far away right now, he's not going up, Hera would actually have the 200 swords and upgrade immediately, so these guys would be pretty much fully upgraded in a matter of seconds. And I feel like oh, Catapracts. Catapracts also work. Catapract Halberdier works pretty nicely as well. These Catapracts need some upgrades though. Blast Furnace will not be in anytime soon. Skateboarding is in, and honestly, Halberdier Catapract. What do Bulgarians do against Halberdiers and Catapracts? Elite Catapract from Modri, not necessarily a fan of a unit, like, you have 3 Catapracts on the field. I feel like numbers are much more important than elite here. But yeah, he's just forcing Hera to switch into swordsman. And, by the way, Hera is still missing both, so I think I just forgot about that. Hera going into imp. The tricky thing for Modri is that he's gonna have to keep those castles alive to make Catapracts. And look at that, he's just gonna stonewall his villagers off over here and start mining that gold mine so he doesn't get raided. Hera's gonna have a bunch of barracks. Hera's on the way to Imperial. There is just not enough Catapracts though. That's my problem. It's like 4 Catapracts against what's gonna be like 50 swordsmen. So I feel like Hera can outproduce Modri in terms of swordsman numbers, whereas even though Catapracts will eat the swordsman, you really have to question if Modri is gonna have enough Catapracts. Because I don't think that he's gonna have, and there is a lot of idle time on those Catapracts now. And I feel like he has thrown away his opportunity to push because Hera is hiding those longswords. He's waiting until he can get the Imperial Age because he would get 200 swordsmen immediately. But I feel like Modri is just going to be outproduced here. He's waiting for Logistica. But once again, he doesn't really have the Catapract numbers to deal with that much infantry. Right? And remember that Hera could also go for his Cavalier, and Cavalier actually do quite decent against Byzantine Catapracts. Here we go though. This is going to be pushed before Hera reaches Imperial, and Hera is going to make a pikeman of his own to deal with the Catapracts. It's going to be like pikeman longswords for now for Hera. Dispatches quite a lot of cavalry to the south. Those guys will pretty much be trapped in here, and there is more. Now Modri is going to see the longswordsmen. There is quite a lot of Catapracts on the field. Traps will be set up to try and trap down that castle. Bagains is not in there for those swordsmen, but once Imperial Age is in, they will have 200 swordsmen immediately. Some knights actually got slaughtered over here, and that is stirrups, I believe, for Hera. The only castle Hera has. If Modri focuses that down, that castle is going to go down pretty fast. Stirrups is actually pretty important over here for Hera. Waits until Blast Furnace comes in. But more and more Catapracts on the way for Modri. I think that Modri needs to add some more Catapracts. Maybe even delete some Halberdiers or just send them into their death here. Because he's pop capped, but he needs more Catapracts. Because he's going to be facing a lot of swordsmen. He's at 130 vills. And it appears that he's going to open up the gates here instead of actually trying to trap down the castle. Went for a monastery first. Halberdier upgrading as well for Hera. But Hera doesn't have a lot of hubs. On the south there is nothing really going on. Hera is going to be picking off the neutral gold without any major concerns. The problem for Hera is going to be that whenever he won a game, he won it through a trap war, if we remember that. The Slav monk push game and the Teuton turtle for Modri, both of those games were lost by Modri on trap fights. Here, winning a trap fight for Hera is going to be awfully hard, because these Byzantine castles have like insane HP. Hera is still on double bit axe only. That actually hurts so badly. And now Modri is going to start dropping outposts. There are some Catapracts inside. Modri's macro here isn't perfect. He's got a huge amount of Catapracts queued up. But I think that he could really benefit from losing a few Halberdiers over here. And it looks like we're going to have a big clash. Something that is, I think, favoring Modri here quite massively. Remember that with Logistica, those Catapracts even have area damage. So they will actually do pretty nicely until the Halberdiers show up. But are there enough Halberdiers right now? I'm not 100% sure, and that castle is about to go down pretty fast. And remember that Halberdiers aren't amazing at stopping Catapracts. They trade okay, but not insane, and that's something that might not be enough for Hera over here. And Modri is going to potentially win this game here, because now Modri is going to focus down the barracks. Castle is down, Hera taps out, Modri wins the arena show match over here, making 2 in a row at the end of the series. And yeah, the Catapract Halberdier push here with Bulgarians is just insanely hard to stop, because you need archers for that. Like, you need actual, what, a lot of arbs basically to stop that. Modri played this one well. I feel like he was a little bit too passive, and you see that the macro wasn't perfect. Like, all these Catapracts queued up. If he had a little bit less Halberdiers, I feel like these would be Catapracts on the field, and maybe delete 10 villagers could also make sense. But yeah, Modri played this one super smart. I don't know what Hera was planning with all those knights, to be honest, and I'm not gonna lie. Hera was in a tough spot here, because Bulgarians versus Byzantines is a tough matchup. Cavalry Archer would have potentially worked, yes. Cav Archer Swordsman. I think that's the comp for Hera to go for here. Because Cav Archer would deal with the Halberdiers and the Catapracts. And the Swordsman would be able to deal with Halberdiers and Skirms. Of course, Onagers would still make it potentially messy, but Cav Archer Swordsman is something that would have worked for Hera, I believe. But it takes a lot of time to tech into, and Modri wins this show match. So we had a question at the beginning of this series on who Modri is. Now you can see who Modri is. You put him into a closed map and he's turning into a beast. And that's exactly what we experienced today over here. Modri winning 3-2 over here. So congrats to Modri. He's going to win, I think, $400. $100 is there for Hera. And once again, thanks to Roxy for hosting this show match. It was a pretty fun one. One of the better arena show matches I've seen, to be honest. We had some fun games with the arena clowns. We had some comeback games. Like, probably the best game from this series was game number 4, when Modri came back with Celts. That's actually a very nice game. overall. But the rest of them were also pretty enjoyable, so I'll probably upload this to YouTube. So in case you're watching it over there, thanks for watching.